हो गया।
लग रहा है।
शुरू हो गया, चेक करो। यहाँ तो सेट रिमाइंडर ही दिखा रहा है मेरे को भी।
मेरे को भी। इट्स गोइंग, इट्स चेंजिंग।
हो रहा है वहाँ लेफ्ट में ऊपर दिखाएगा। आ गया कुछ तो हो रहा है भाई।
ऑडियो भी आ गया उधर से। या देयर यू गो।
आपके रेडियो की आवाज आ रही है पीछे से।
हाँ, वो मेरा वीडियो चल पड़ा। सो वी आर लाइव।
हाय वरुण कपाही।
हेलो।
Thanks for having me on this amazing new podcast of yours.
Okay. I'm still trying to text some people, groups, and tell them that we are live now. And
आपने चाय वगैरह कुछ रखी है अपने पास या नहीं?
I got myself water. So the first time I did my first podcast, I forgot to bring water.
Are you endorsing Pulpet also?
We are both endorsing Pulpit.
Do you think they give out
And this
endorsements?
to podcast YouTuber,
I think they should know.
definitely they should make a bottle with the YouTube logo and you
हाँ,
know,
they should
do-
start selling all that.
definitely. I've never seen my room this lit up before.
How are you feeling about it?
It's too clear. It's unnerving. Wait, I'm changing the view. Now I want to broadcast like this. How do we get to know how if people are watching, how many people? Six,
So
seven, seven
there's
people.
there's an analytics button there. You can click on that and it'll show you more.
It's a live class on learning to do this, but we will make it entertaining now. Okay. Um hello.
Hello,
सौरभ, आप कैसे हैं?
मैं बहुत अच्छा हूँ.
All right. So, will you ever be like a Bandra boy? Like, will you ever get like a Bombay accent? And जब आप कभी दिल्ली में मिलेंगे हमें और ऐसा लगेगा अरे
Bandra boy is a very detailed topic.
very detailed topic.
Yeah, because in Bandra also there are multiple pockets which
Okay.
have different kinds of Bandra boys. My closest Bandra boy I know is Reese D'Souza,
Yeah, I know.
and I don't think I'm getting even close to being a Bandra boy, or uh, I don't know if I have traits of Bombay yet in me. So the answer is no. It might be very difficult to say yes to that.
Okay. Fair enough. But we'll meet and we'll figure it out. I'll have my opinion on this.
Oh, really? You think I have the accent going on and everything?
So let's just tiny bit. You know what it is? It's this thing. Abhi I was watching this movie and this Bombay police guy moves somewhere else to work, and this guy says, uh, भजिया है and that guy gives him aloo bhujia and then he says अच्छा बगल में मिल जाएगी, he says बगल में कहाँ मिलेगी, you know. So it's the basic way of how you start interpreting certain things.
It's you have to call different things differently here. That's surely there,
So
but
which brings us to how many years have you been in Bombay for?
I've been in Bombay for 4 years, I think. Yeah, 4 years now.
I was there in 17. You had been there for a year and a half
Si-
there then?
And I think 16 end is when I reached Bombay, and then I've been here since then. It's been about 4 years.
In 4 years, okay. Um, I do remember visiting you 1 year before I moved and met you. Before I moved, I met you there for a week. I was there in Mud Island. So I remember that you were there at least a year before I moved to Bombay. So that's there. Okay, let's talk about the most important thing. What made you start the podcast? Because you made me, like, you inspired me to start the podcast. So I'm wondering, the idea आपको कहाँ से आया to do these podcasts? And just to give a, now that we have started the podcast, there are 8-10 people watching.
Yeah,
Just want to give a brief introduction and then I'll let you answer this question. I'll
sure,
hold
man.
question. Okay, this is my style of podcast.
I
That I
got it.
question.
I'm with you.
So Saurabh Suman is a bass player. He is a content creator. He runs a business or a school called School of Bass, and it's a beautiful thing that he's doing over there. Alongside, he is also a band leader. He arranges live tunes. He's a bass guitar teacher, uh, in a way, and he's doing that in person and in a in the process of School of Bass, like through the school. He was my bass guitar teacher and music teacher for a while, and he's also a teacher of life. So if you have things that are, your mom's there. She's saying hello.
She'll be there. I
Ah,
knew she's there.
hello, auntie.
Hello, mom.
It's been a while since I met her. So okay, so Saurabh Suman, this is a brief introduction of Saurabh Suman. There's a lot more to talk about. I may have missed the most important things, but Saurabh Suman is from Delhi, moved to Bombay 4 years back or so in 2016, somewhere around there, and he he just worked his way to a place of independence and also playing some of the best gigs possible. Saurabh Suman has played, if I can name a few, and I will miss some important ones. He plays for Vishal Bhardwaj, right?
Mm-hmm.
You play sometimes for Vishal ji. You played Arriving,
Arrived.
Arrived. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Arrived, where A.R. Rahman was a part of it, which is A.R. Arrived, sort of, right? That was epic. And you have played some very big names, and you also play for other cool acts like Fanculos and Bartender.
Yes, I
And,
do.
and there are some other very, very big names. Like there were so many, and I used to be like, when will I get those gigs? Like those were those gigs, I always wanted to play. So like every bass player, not just me. This is not about me actually. It's for almost all bass players want those super high level A-list gigs, and you made your way up there as a bass player. But besides doing that, you also established a whole bunch of other things along the way. At yourself as a band leader, as an arranger, as a content creator, you're one of the few Bombay or Indian YouTube musicians for sure. There are maybe a few more. There are a few that teach guitar,
Yeah,
and
there are some who teach guitar, but I
there's
don't know for bass. I have not found many. I have found a few,
yeah.
but they're mostly older videos, like 4 years ago or 6 years ago, something like that. Couldn't really find something specific.
When I look there, I'm looking at comments. Okay, so I want to make everyone a part of it.
It's like you look like somebody gave you a cold cup of tea.
Whole cup.
Okay.
When I look over there,
Yeah, that face you made, no? Change your face.
because I was like, oh my god, there are people watching. Hello, everyone. This is amazing that you're here. You're a part of it. Um, yeah, I want to keep this interactive. So a weird brief introduction Kapahi style of Mr. Saurabh Suman. He's actually one of the inspirations. Like I do a lot of things. I just simply try to copy Saurabh, and I do it at a 20-30% capacity, and the rest of it is me being me. And a lot of things I do in life is because of Saurabh, and he is kind of like unknown or known to him. I follow him like he's my mentor. So
Thank you,
that.
man.
And so let's come back to the thing of what made you start the podcast.
So, I want to do a lot of things in life,
Mhm.
like a lot of different kinds of things. And I just did not know where to start. And if a normal person like me can do something and can even create something or manifest something that he wishes to. So I ended up just somehow I stumbled upon a podcast by Matt Devella
Okay.
where there weren't any uh, celebrities or people who I can't even relate to. He
Mhm.
used to interview normal people, and the podcast used to be like an hour long or something.
Matt, what?
Matt D. Avella.
Okay.
So
Got it.
Maddde
Okay.
Deavella, something like that. That's how he spelled.
Yeah, yeah.
But now what happened is that I think he stopped making podcasts. His mission was to make 100 podcasts, and then that was it. And
Yeah.
great content creator, a movie guy, and has done film school and everything.
Mhm.
Now, of course, he's not a musician, but he's a creative person, and he used to get other creators on board. But of course, they were all people who had done and achieved something in life.
Right.
And listening to those stories in a podcast, how people did stuff,
Yeah.
how they made it happen for themselves, it really changed my life. It really made me think that these are normal people. These are people who started thinking just like right now I'm thinking. I'm thinking of doing something. I'm thinking of having a YouTube channel. I'm thinking of starting to create content.
Right.
When I heard those guys and I heard how they function, everybody, like I've heard almost all 100 of those podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
So every time I heard it, my life changed. And I remember I used to be cycling
Okay.
in Bombay most of the times in the evening. If I have to had to go somewhere, I have to catch a boat to go to the other side of the city.
Yeah.
So I would catch the boat on the cycle and have this podcast on my ears. And by the time I'll do my chores and I'll come back, I'll be a different man at a thought level. So it changed my life completely. Actually, it started to change my life. I started thinking differently. I started feeling that I can do something because somebody who looks like me is a normal person.
Yeah.
Like if Amitabh Bachchan tells me a story, or somebody that who's working in that arena tells me a story, it's hard for me to relate to it because it has happened so long ago in his life
Right.
that it's hard to trace back how he did it. And when I hear somebody like Matt Devella talk to a person uh, about anything, like how this, for example, there's this couple called Mango Street working in that arena,
Yeah.
who create this amazing content on the internet about how to edit videos, how to create beautiful pictures, and all that. And now they're normal people, they're content creators, they do other great stuff, of course, but I can relate to them. I can understand what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I see them as normal people, just like me. So when I hear a podcast, my life evolves, it becomes better, and I start application. Then I see, oh, this stuff is working. So let me keep going. And then I keep listening to podcasts. And then I stumbled upon Joe Rogan's podcast,
Yeah.
which I am a daily consumer of.
That is.
And when I get something that makes my life better, I want everybody to have it. Now, the other problem that I would understand and face was that if I was young and I hear how somebody who's really established and famous right now had a journey. Yes, there is inspiration in that. If some really big name is of a bass player is telling me uh, that I did this when I was young, when I was, I had started out, I did this and that.
Yeah.
It's again the same issue arises that it's hard for me to relate to it
Correct.
because those people who are in that league almost seemed unreal to me that they even exist, because they exist in YouTube, they exist in DVDs and whatever VHSs were there earlier. It
Mm-hmm.
was hard for the mind to perceive that this is something tangible or real. Of course, it is tangible. Of course, it's real. But somehow our minds, or my mind rather, sees it in a different manner.
Yeah. You need relatability for direct inspiration, I believe.
That's correct. So when I see somebody who I know, like if I was young and I would hear how Naresh did it.
Right.
When Naresh says names that I met Kailash like this, I talked to Paresh. It's a story I can feel in a much real manner.
It's
Uh,
very. Yeah.
It's very real, and it brings a different kind of inspiration. Both the stories will bring inspiration. If Victor Wooten tells me something
Yeah.
over a video, of course not in person, it's going to bring inspiration. Like when Mohini does a podcast with
Yeah.
Belishian and all that, I hear that and I am very inspired.
Right.
But if I'm hearing something when Sheldon is talking to somebody over an interview, the stories, the concepts, the hurdles, they are real. They are the hurdles I'll face here in my country,
True.
right? Those are the problems I need to solve myself immediately. For
Yeah.
example, the payment issues, like me and Abhishek were discussing last time on the School of Base podcast, as to what happens when you increase your rate. And we went into a conversation about that. So, coming back to the point that the value every podcast gave me, the
Mm.
way it changed my life. And it's just, and also, listening to other people's perspectives who weren't musicians, who were maybe authors, maybe wrestlers, maybe business people.
Right.
It changed my life. And I feel that kind of inspiration uh, is, yes, available to everybody. I started the podcast because when when I talk to people, of course I learn a lot. and I love to talk to people. I have interests in many different things, many different fields. So as I'm talking, I'm learning. And of course, I know when people would be listening to somebody they can relate to. In fact, Deepak called me the other day. Uh, he's now in Spain, the guitar player. I don't know if you
Yeah,
remember.
Deepak Verma. Yeah.
Deepak Verma from Dwarka, but
Yeah.
now lives in, he lives, I think, in Madrid or somewhere.
Wow.
So he's learning flamenco guitar there. Very cool guy. And he said that the podcast makes me, uh, again, he was saying the same thing, that I can relate to it. I can relate to this person. I can understand what's going on. And it inspires when you hear those stories. So to sum it up, I started the podcast because I myself got a lot of value out of listening to podcasts. My life improved. And if I can create something similar from which the chain goes on, I'll be very happy.
That is very inspiring. Actually, I think it's the same for me. The podcasts were so amazing to listen to, and then yours was so amazing to listen to. I was like, okay, I gotta bring value to my people. I gotta pass it on to the 80, 100 people that check out my content
Hmm.
every other day when I put it out or whatever it is. So I was like, let's start there, and my goal was to connect people to musicians, producers, singers, whoever has in our vision, in our world, they've made it. Let's bring them on the podcast because I have access to them. I can bring them on the podcast. And the other guys who are, it also came from going to Sakak when I had these 18, 21-year-old, 23-year-old guys who probably didn't have these connections. And they were like, how did you do this? How do you know these people? And I was like, I don't know. I just went up to them and talked to them. But
Hmm.
okay, let's do this. Let's just start the podcast. And like, if anyone would ask me a question, I'd be like, you know what? I can do a podcast on this issue. And then I would bring the person needed to solve that thing. Like for example, we could do a whole podcast on networking, and then the
Yes.
people asking the networking questions will find a lot of answers specific to Delhi, Bombay, Indian situation. That what was the so this one was more like what you have been trying to focus on, which is building resources as a musician. And
Yes.
School of Bass is a resource for you in a way that where you give, you get back. It's a relationship that you're building with the internet, with the bass players of this country. And let's talk about School of Bass for a bit, if you would like. What inspired you to start that? It's always interesting.
Well,
Bec-
the it
yeah,
all started from one was, there's this book I read called Click Millionaires, and I even shared a post about it on Instagram talking about it, where that book is so cool. It talks about how you build trust, how you solve problems, and what happens after you solve problems, and what a niche is essentially. So I was seeing that there is this problem that when I was younger, I couldn't speak English properly. And younger, I'm saying I couldn't speak English when I was in 10th grade. I could understand it, but I couldn't understand the Western accent.
yeah,
And I know uh, who you spend time with, what kind of people you're surrounded with decides what kind of language you'll speak and how you'll speak it.
right on. Yeah.
And of course, from there on, I started trying to talk in English. I remember I had gone for a trek somewhere when I was younger. I was in 10th and had these people who were talking to each other in English, and I was just, I would prefer being quiet because I didn't know how to talk in English. And the inspiration basically came from trying to, all these thoughts were crossing my mind that, of course, there are people there who want to learn bass, and there is nobody talking about the bass guitar or how Western music works in Hindi. There's nobody doing it. I came across some books somewhere long ago when I was in college, but they were bizarre and wrong,
Yeah.
because people who were really invested in Indian classical music had written books about Western notation or Western music. So they were not in place. So I had a memory of that. Then I realized, over my journey, that I've understood and I've experienced a lot of things, and I'm practically applying a lot of stuff. And there's so much that you can just remove, eradicate, and talk about how do we play today? What are the basic tools we need? to start playing stuff. You need to know your rhythm, you need to know a couple of scales to start playing. Of course, you can evolve, you can really fire things up and one day play like whoever you want to play like.
That course you have is a definitive. It's like couple of two. It's about 2 years of lessons that a bass player would randomly look for, try and understand. 3 maybe years. It depends on their luck. It's actually their luck if they find all these elements in different places. You summed it all, presented it in a nice way, and
Yes,
one can just finish it at their own pace. You know.
that's what I wanted to do, and that inspiration also came from somewhere else, which I'll talk about once I let you know the root of this whole school of bass.
Let's go.
And then this problem solving thing, that how do you find your niche? First you find a problem, that what is the problem that you want to solve. Like how Google Maps came up, there's a problem, people don't know how to reach from place A to place B, so Google decides we're going to solve this problem.
Right.
Or Google decides we're going to solve the problem of people trying to let's say they see something but they don't know what the name is. So they say, okay, we are going to design something which is AI operated. Take a picture, upload it, and the internet will tell you what that thing is. So that's a problem, that's a solution. And we become friends with Google. We say Google is good,
Yeah.
it works well.
It works well.
So finding a problem, which was no base lessons in Hindi.
Correct.
There are none. And I had started teaching a while back. So while I was teaching, all my teaching experience helped me understand what should I actually keep and what should I actually remove.
Yeah.
So I basically looked at the problem that if there is information, it's kind of not really useful, which is going to make you play today. It may be something that will make you play or maybe make you never play, because there'll be concepts being shared which are unnecessary, which are so off the topic in a way that you can't play right now. You have to think about stuff, you have to practice something, only then you'll be able to play and all that.
कॉलेज लेवल की लाइब्रेरी में कंटेंट होना चाहिए वाला, बट देन वी गेट इट एट किंडरगार्टन, वी इवन लर्न इट एंड देन वी डोंट नो व्हाट टू डू विद इट, यू नो.
Yes, so that was an issue. So now this problem is there, no base lessons in Hindi. So I said, okay, I'm going to start doing it. And somehow I first started, I don't know, I'm not able to remember why I did my first 2 lessons in English. I don't know. Or I just thought I'm going to start the school of bass and then I'll see where it goes.
Yeah, YouTube also, there was a lot of other content which was in English. I think maybe you transitioned from there towards School of Bass and kept English.
So there are two channels. One is Saurabh Suman channel on YouTube,
Okay.
which is completely English. I put covers and all, which is not nothing to do with Hindi and Bollywood.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the School of Bass, on which I do everything in Hindi except the podcast. Except the podcast. I was thinking of making another channel to do the podcast, but then I realized I can't handle 3 channels. It's a lot to handle. So,
Hit subscribe, please.
so
All the viewers, go hit subscribe on Saurabh Suman's 2 bass channels and
yeah,
where we
one channel is called Saurabh Suman. The other one is called the School of Bass. You can subscribe. And yeah, so coming back to this, there was this whole thing where people didn't have a solution to the what if they want to understand what's going on inside Bollywood music at a bass player's level.
Yeah.
So now I'm playing Bollywood gigs. I'm playing with all these people. Plus, I also have, a lot of, uh, I relate a lot to West music as well.
right.
Plus, then coming back to, luckily, the studies I did in Indian classical music.
Yeah.
So all of that kind of came together. And it's still to express itself completely. And I'm still to manifest it in a way that it starts showing in the YouTube videos that I'm trying to put out.
Mhm.
But the question was, what if somebody wants to play Bollywood bass properly? What is the process? How does one get to that place that they understand, okay, Bollywood music is not just Bollywood music. It's a mix of reggae. It's a mix of funk. Bang Bang is all funk.
Yeah.
And Baba Ji Ki Booty is all reggae. So all these guys who are playing, what have they played in the past? Did they just sit down and do only Bollywood music?
Right.
No, they did not.
That's
So, of course, expressing all that on the channel, letting everybody know how to actually be able to execute and you build your life from scratch, understand the whole approach, how this whole thing works, and then you can make your life decision. You want to come play Bollywood, you want to come play funk, whatever, it's all going to be served at the school of bass, but everything is going to be taught in Hindi. Of course, there are words I can't translate. I can't say Dorian mode in Hindi. I have to say Dorian mode. I have to say so many things in English. There's no way around it.
डोरियन तो वैसी ग्रीक वर्ड है, तो मतलब क्या ही कर
Ha.
सकते
But what I'll eventually do is I'll be using Sargam to explain modes.
हैं.
So anything that I'm explaining, if we are talking about the melodic minor and all that, so everybody who will be at the school of bass will understand what the Western way of addressing a note is
Right.
and what the Indian classical way of addressing the note is. Because when you come to Bollywood, you have both served to you. And if you know both, you'll be fast. You'll be able to do a lot more work than anybody else. And it's kind of easy to understand. It's something that you can quickly, go through and learn. So that's what I'm trying to solve. Basically, non-availability of lessons in Hindi. So I go in there, I step in there, try to make this problem not an issue, and basically provide lessons in Hindi for bass guitar.
Yeah. Um, what was your relationship or experience with the frustrations of building a website, internet? Jab bhi, like when we start this, like I started the podcast, you started too many things. Like all of these things have some roadblocks, right? Like they're all
A
there,
lot, a
every
lot.
step. So you gotta have a mindset ke roadblock to aayenge,
Yeah.
then what? And then always be ready with like 10x effort. How do you prepare yourself for something like that?
Nowadays, it's become so funny because I'm doing so many new things, so much in a course of a month or a week, that I'm almost now anticipating what is going to go bad now. What is going to fall? Will the light break? Will the computer crash? Will the software not work?
You mean you think about all the things
I'm
that
anticipating it now. I know it's going to go wrong because it's a test. You are going to put out something that is going to change the balance of the universe. So
yeah,
the universe is coming to interfere. It's going to tell you that, hey, bro, stop. I'm going to test. Are you serious about this stuff? Are you going to give up when I suddenly switch your phone off?
right.
When everything has been fine with your phone for the last 2 years and suddenly the phone gives up, you don't know why, because you are putting out your first video today. So Stephen Pressfield, the book he's written
Right.
called The War of Art, so he mentions all this very nicely in that whenever you're going to do something,
Hmm.
all these things will happen. So resistance, it's he that's how he addresses it, that it's normal to feel all kinds of issues. Like, I know if I have a new idea and I'm going to sit and execute it, I'll get a headache. I'll feel hungry. I'll feel like yahan dard ho raha hai, wahan dard ho raha hai. And it's there, man, every time. But now the thing is that I've embraced it. I've embraced every problem that hits me.
Hmm.
I'm not like bring it on and shoot me in my chest. Not like that. Of course, it has emotional impact on me. I feel stuff that I wish this hadn't happened.
Yeah.
But then I also know inside it will happen. It is messy when you're trying to do something for the first time. It's not going to come out right. It's
Yeah.
fine. But that doesn't mean you need to stop or you don't need to put stuff out. You have to do what you have to do. When it's time to do it, you do it.
Hmm.
Yes, you will face issues. Yes, in the morning when it's time to work for me, yes, I feel like just lying down for 5 minutes and then converting it into 15, then 20, then 30, then I'll say, let's do it tomorrow. Everybody feels that, it's normal,
Yeah.
but you have to get your ass to sit on that chair where you sit and work. Yes, you will sit and feel like opening Facebook just for 5 minutes.
It happens. अपने आप खुल जाती है.
So those things are something that you practice yourself against, challenge yourself.
Right.
Like, I leave my phone outside always whenever I'm sitting and working. So there are no notifications, controlled environment, isolated environment. But in terms of hurdles, man, I mean, when I started recording the first YouTube lesson for the School of Bass,
Hmm.
my phone, it could record video absolutely fine. And then suddenly it's somehow happened that my phone said it can't record beyond 2 minutes of a video.
Yeah.
That gave birth to my first 2-3 videos, 2 minute bass lessons with Saurabh Suman.
Beautiful.
So I said, I'm not going to stop because I had read the book, The War of Art.
Right.
Now you're gonna do something, things will happen, things will go wrong. But do you stop? Will you have the best phone? Will you have the best audio? No, you won't. So I've taken a picture of my previous laptop also. It's all broken.
Yeah, yeah. Remember, it was in parts.
It was in parts. But then I bought another laptop to do the School of Base work. Guess what?
That also went to parts.
It just, the motherboard, the GPU, it just
But
heated up so much that it just stopped working forever. I tried to get it repaired every day for a month. For a month, every day. And I'm not kidding. I'm not,
to repair, it's very hard to get a repair shop from Mud Island. Like,
yeah. So it's far. I have to go and do all the rock and roll. But the thing is, what I'm trying to get at is when I tried to start the School of Bass, everything fell apart.
yeah. Oh shit.
I didn't have money. I didn't have a computer which is supposed to work when I paid money for it.
Right.
And it went out of warranty, which meant I am supposed to pay. Nowadays, what they do with the motherboard is that everything is, it's not like you can take the hard drive out, you can take this other. It's all on one thing. So if the motherboard burns out, the whole thing replaces itself. That's how they're making laptops nowadays. I
Right.
don't know. So that happened. So it burnt out. I didn't have anything. I just had a phone then
Hmm.
that was recording 2-minute videos. But then whatever happened, I got something going on. Something was happening. I tried to figure out how do I do this? How do I put this out? Then whatever Sony Vegas on my code to do a laptop, I started uh, running that laptop again to record whatever I had with whatever I was keeping in the house. Everything was old. Everything was rotten. Nothing was working. Sound card was fine. Absolutely fine. But guess what? I start the School of Bass and the sound card goes kachar, 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 kachar. I said, what's going on? I realized, okay, man, it's resistance. I'm trying to do something.
Universe resist change.
Yeah, and I'm trying to do something. It's not going to work. So the sound card gave up. And then the sound card goes for repair for a month because it goes to Chennai, then they repair it, send it back. I had all the reasons to give up, but I didn't stop.
Hmm.
I said, okay, it's a way. I'll prepare my lessons. What am I going to talk about next?
Right.
So when it came back, it was fine for some time. Then eventually I bought another one, and then didn't buy a laptop because didn't have money at all that time. And but I managed to get a phone for 10,000 rupees. And School of Bass was run on that completely. My phone was my camera. My phone was my editing place using Kind Master. I used to make thumbnails on my phone. Everything was done on the phone. And all the audio was recorded on a broken sound card and a broken laptop. And it was all put together inside the phone. And then I wanted to make some music, record something. And that also I did on the phone, like the editing of the song called Listening to the Green that I put up an original on YouTube. It's all edited on the phone. It looks pathetic. But all I knew is I have to keep going.
Yeah.
I have to keep creating. I can't make any excuses that I don't have this, I don't have that. Nobody has anything at everything at any point of time. So you can't make it an excuse. Rigid Bone, I used to make strings out of cycle breaks, man. Like, we are in a good place. We have stuff. We have stuff. And it
Yeah.
was funny, like a lot of jugars I used to do, like put the phone here and then put a mirror behind it so that I can see the screen. So that when I record, I can see where the frame is.
Yeah.
So, yes, lots of hurdles, but kept on going. And then again, whenever I pick up something new, now I kind of know how, what kind of hurdles I'm going to hit and what is going to happen. Like sometimes I'm completely surprised by something that hit me. And these are the physical hurdles, the tangible ones. But then there are emotional hurdles,
Definitely.
right? Self doubt hits you. Is it good enough? Am I doing the right thing? It's not looking nice. And again, it's all part of resistance. Everybody feels it. It's not that I make a video and I feel like, yes, I'm the best. It's not like that. I
Yeah.
have my shares of self doubt, but of course, I know how to challenge it now. I know done is better than perfect. So I don't have to wait for perfection to come in anything. There is, yes, there is evolvement of everything. Everything evolves as you keep going. And from the first video to the videos now, there's a huge difference in what I've experienced and what I've learned.
Right.
So things kept on going, kept on improving, and then it's still like improving for me. So hurdles, yes, tangible, which is breaking down of stuff which was working absolutely fine. And there's a lot of stuff that broke down, and I don't want to mention everything here, but I point I'm trying to make is that things go wrong. It is a messy thing. Whenever you try to do something which will redefine you, you will not, it's not going to be easy to put it out or create it or manifest it. Just know that it's not going to be easy, but you can do it. If I can do it, anybody can do it. It's doable. That's what I want to put out there as a summary of whatever I said. Just keep going, keep at it, face the issues, solve them, move on.
Okay, so let me come to this thing. Where, how do you get, okay, there's one is willpower. I get it. But then there's other is energy.
Hmm.
If you don't have energy, you can't, like, you got to conserve and manifest your energy
Hmm.
all through the day again and again, right? So there's those hurdles. But you always, most times, I've seen you at some tough times through some tough times, but
Hmm.
most days I've seen you with this incredible sheer energy that you have to get through the day.
Hmm.
And you sleep like peacefully because it's done, like you spent it all. So,
I was just telling Vasu this morning about my, because last night I was asleep and I had a lovely productive week.
yeah.
Everything I planned for happened and it was a great week, work wise, and had a lovely week. So I slept extremely like a peacefully like a baby. Now in the middle of the night when I wake up, I walk whatever to have water, go to the loo or whatever it is in the middle of the night. But yesterday I got up and I tripped and I couldn't stand. And this morning I was telling Vasu that I went to that deep sleep state.
Yeah.
I was really sleeping.
Yeah.
And when I got up to have water, I kind of fell. And then I hit the table and I was laughing about it this morning. I was feeling very good inside. And it was a Sunday today. So Sunday is generally a chutti day for me. Unless there's something really, really massive happening that I can't
Yeah.
let a day go for that. I have to do it.
Yeah.
But otherwise, Sunday is dedicated to a chutti.
Hmm.
So now it was Sunday, so I had completed all my work and I was sleeping like a baby. And when I woke up, I kind of fell and I was laughing about it this morning. So now I was telling Vasu this morning that when I am sleeping, I'm really looking forward to tomorrow.
Yeah.
So it doesn't give me that deepest state of sleep. And it's all joyful. It's not like insomnia.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, man, tomorrow there'll be a morning again.
मजा आ जाता है.
And I'll get to do all these things, and then we'll do this, and then that'll happen. So there's this thing that's already I have prepared myself for. Now it's not even a conscious thing because I heard this from Elon Musk that you need to wake up looking forward to something. If you're not looking forward to something when you're waking up, you need to do some changes to your life.
Right.
And it so happened that I didn't consciously step into this territory, but now yes, I look forward to doing a lot of things every day. But where does all this fun and energy come from? It's simple, man. It's the way you start your morning will decide the whole day.
Okay.
So it's the morning that is a religious pattern for me, a system for me. When I wake up, and I learned this from Robin Sharma's book
All right.
called The 5 a.m. Club.
Okay.
So the first thing I do is I wake up, I read, then I work out, then I meditate, and then I'm at work. But yes, I wake up very early. I wake up at 5 and I read for about an hour, 45 minutes, hour, work out, which is again a huge contributor to how my day is going to make me feel and what will I feel as a person. Because I've already challenged myself first by waking up
Yeah.
5 a.m.
Yeah.
I woke up, I won something, right? I'm
Yeah.
already up,
Definitely.
conquered one thing. I worked out, or
Mm.
rather, I read after that. I read something, finished a chapter. You're already feeling all these great things about knowing something more about something that you wouldn't have known otherwise.
Beautifully
Because
said.
what's in the book is not on YouTube, guys.
That-
That's what I want to tell you. So books are very detailed. They are very beautiful. They pamper you. They embrace you, and it's just gorgeous to be inside a book. It's never gonna be on YouTube. Uh,
No, this is
so
powerful because एक बारी दिन चल गया फोन के नोटिफिकेशंस आ गए फिर बैठ के बुक पढ़ना और मुश्किल है बहुत मुश्किल है मतलब फिर तो
so then after I read, when I'm working out, listening to Joe Rogan, and when I turn my phone on, uh, it's yes. Nowadays, I use my phone in the morning because I have to listen to the podcast while I'm working out,
Mhm.
and after that, I meditate using my phone. So, but the thing is that the notifications and all that, they are not attractions for me anymore because I don't get my dopamine from them anymore. It doesn't, and all my notifications are off.
Mm.
I choose when I open Instagram. I choose when I open Facebook. I
WhatsApp
choose when I open anything else.
WhatsApp is off notification
WhatsApp is on, but it works in my WhatsApp has to be on because it's work messages.
and family.
But what I do is I keep my phone away.
Hmm.
I don't keep it connected to my computer, nothing. So when I'm working, I'm working. The phone is outside.
So morning, let's go back to the morning. How do
Yeah.
you? So is your workout heavy? What is it like? 20 minutes, an hour?
So it's different every day. And when I don't feel like following a routine, then I just go for a run. That's what I do, a 20-minute run. So Monday I do legs, Tuesday chest, Wednesday core,
Wow.
Thursday is ankles and wrist because I have issues in my ankles and my wrist. Left ankle and left wrist is not good. It's not been fine since very long.
So
Wrist has not been okay for me since my childhood. My
that
left
is
wrist.
thing. If you don't take care of it, then I'm guessing.
Yes, it does, and I have to be very uh, aware of my technique.
Yeah.
Uh, Sometimes when I overplay or overexert it, then it does hurt me a little. So I have to take a break then. But it's something I've had since childhood. I wasn't even playing
Right.
guitar and all that. I'm still in the process of finding the right physio to fix this.
Mm-hmm.
Ankle, I kind of I hurt myself while working out long back about 2 years ago, and it's much better now. So I had shown it to somebody. I'm working on those exercises.
Right. So you're working out with a podcast, listening to.
Yeah, nowadays, yes. Since the lockdown, earlier I wasn't,
Okay.
but I miss people, man. I really miss people. I think I feel uh, it's a nice thing of because I'm up early and there's nothing happening. But when I listen to, especially when I consume information in the morning first thing, rather than just swiping through the Facebook and all that, so it's very empowering. It's already lit me, it's given me so much fuel through the day. Like if Jocko Willink is on Joe Rogan's podcast, he's already told you that, hey man, you gotta do this, do that. And I'm feeling all charged up and I'm like, okay, we're gonna get this done, we're gonna get this step done, then that, then this and that. And I'm listening to all these people who are talking about gorgeous things about how they've achieved these great heights in their life. And if, let's say, I'm listening to Joe Rogan talking to some comedian,
Mm-hmm.
I'm listening to the way they approach a show, like how they practice for a year in clubs. They just practice the same set again and again and again. And then after 1 year of practice, doing iterations, trying to figure out how it works and what it works, what's not working, they remove stuff, they add stuff, and then after 1 year they launch a special on Netflix or something. And then once it's launched, it's over. Your jokes are out there, you can't repeat them anywhere.
Right.
And then you start all over again. And when I'm listening to all these things, they're bringing a lot of inspiration. They're making me think, how can a musician do this? So I've kind of triggered myself that, hey, can a musician have a set? Can he do iterations? Can he understand, looking at the audience, that they don't dance to this song? I need to get this song off my set list. And then after a year, do a special somewhere for somebody, get the whole gig recorded. So listening to that, And then, of course, then I shut all this and I meditate for 10 minutes. Then I take a bath, and then I'm practicing mostly for about an hour or 45 minutes, depending on if there's something to immediately attend to. But morning based practice, my practice, learning a song, uh, or thinking of what I'm going to put out next on YouTube, or just practicing, my base fitness, doing some exercises. So I make sure I do that 1 hour in the morning, 7 to 8. And yeah, and then the day goes on from there. I mean, it is a little, I don't recommend it to everybody, but if you want that, specifically, you want that high in your life, you want to know and experience it, how it works. There are scientific methods of generating energy through the day, and it's all laid down properly in the book, The 5 a.m. Club by Robin Sharma. So if you're interested in being uh, to the point, energetic through the day, if you want to do a lot of things, this is beautiful things inside there, man. I mean, I can't even begin to tell. But to some people, the book might not be a gorgeous novel or a great writing. If you are into that you want the writer to take you on a journey and all that. No, it means business. That book is, it means business. It just wants you to do stuff, and it gives you methods, it gives you frameworks. Like there's a 90-91 formula in that book, which basically tells you, do one thing for 90 days, 90 minutes a day. I read something, I try to apply it. I applied it.
Hmm.
I picked up the piano. I always wanted to play the piano,
Right.
but I couldn't play it ever because there was no time and this and that and a million other excuses. I said, okay, I'm going to do 90 minutes, 90 days. I'm going to play piano, all the songs I love. And when 3 months got over, I could play piano. Now it's added to my life that I can play piano. If there's something I need to do, I can do. And in fact, I'm planning to put up a cover on piano now soon, like on YouTube. So what I'm trying to get at is that there are very, very clearly defined methods as to how human brain energies and the power of manifestation, how you want to manifest anything, is all laid down by many people, many people. But yes, if I say one stop where you want to go and check out how all this works, is the 5 a.m. club. And it's your choice if you want to wake up at 5 a.m. or not. I'm not saying that everybody has to wake up at 5 a.m., but I'm addicted to it. When once I started doing it, I just couldn't look back. And I don't even recommend my schedule to anybody, because it's not a schedule which happened to come into action in a day, that from tomorrow I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
It's been a practice. It's been a long practice. I do get solid hours in of work now, like good 8 hours of work, excluding breaks. So that really, really, the morning really decides my energy level. And man, exercising, that release of endorphins is your superpower. If you release endorphins in the morning by running, by sweating, just get some sweat going. That's enough.
Hmm.
Not like Delhi humidity sweat, but your own, that you create by running, by doing push-ups or whatever. And your day will be different. And avoid your phone in the morning.
Yeah.
I'm now going to try and have an alarm clock also. But I happen to see my phone a lot during the time of the launch of the course.
Right.
When I launched the course, the School of Base course on the website, I had to see it a lot even when I was waking up, because I always had to stay on the check. Are the payment methods working? Is
Yeah.
this working? Is that working? So then I was just opening the phone first thing in the morning to see, is everything going all right?
How was that?
See, it affects my day, man. Honestly, it really affects my day. And I'm not saying that every day I'm able to not, not every day when I wake up, since the lockdown, I do have the wish to see what's going on the internet,
Right.
especially related to the course.
Okay. Yeah.
But if I'm able to 9 out of 10 times be by myself in the morning, I'm good. I'm good. But when I check my phone to see everything is going all right, it affects my day. It affects the pace of my day. It affects how I'm, how much I'm producing in the day and all that. It has a huge effect on it. So I try my best. I won't say I'm 100% on it. That I wake up and I never see this and that. Yes, sometimes since the lockdown, I think I miss people. I want to make sure everything is running all right. I step into it, but the difference is that it doesn't give me my kick. It doesn't give me any dopamine that, hey, I got a like, or hey, this person saw that. That's not my joy, because I get my dopamine from other challenges.
Right.
My high comes from other difficult things that I try to do and incorporate in my life.
Beautiful. That is super important. That dopamine detox from social media is essential to even just some cognitive clarity. नहीं तो um, the monkey brain kicks in. Then 83 views are better than 72 views. And it's a different journey, guys. If you're getting something out of this, feel free to type in the chat comments. This was an enlightening conversation, and I'm glad that it's going to stay there on the internet. Oh, two questions. One, Lemuel is asking, this is interesting because he's coming to the end product actually, and we're talking about the process, but this is interesting. Yeah, he's asking a question, how and when does content creation generate income? But what I want to ask you is, you work out, you do your thing, when do you get your coffee? Y-
Oh yeah, so I forgot to tell you that when I wake up, I so my workout clothes are right next to my bed. I wake up and I change, so that I'm already in the mindset.
Mhm.
Then I go to the kitchen and I start the brewing process. It's getting ready. So when I'm reading in the morning, I'm reading with a cup of coffee, and I'm reading with the windows open, and I'm just sitting there in the dark
So,
reading. So the first cup happens there,
okay,
and then the second cup happens after breakfast.
okay.
Then maybe another one after that, maybe sometimes.
Yeah, some days.
Then lunch, and then after lunch,
So four,
another
five
cup.
cups a day.
I have about four. It's not recommended.
Yeah,
Please don't.
three,
But
three is okay, I guess.
three is okay. But I really hydrate myself a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and my water intake is unusually high.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that kind of balances my coffee in some way or the other.
Which
Not a
also
doctor.
adds to a lot of bathroom visits. Just FYI, musicians, I'm telling you this.
Well, I'm working from home. I'm
Yeah.
fine.
So just saying, that many coffee cups, that much water, just be aware.
Yeah, at least a liter for a cup of coffee is what I recommend to everybody. If you're trying to get on 4 cups of coffee a day.
So that first cup is espresso, or what is it like? How
So depends on how much time I have in my hands.
right?
So because for the espresso, I have to turn on the machine, wait for it to heat up and all that. So sometimes I
Hash
make an.
here, he's saying hi.
Who said hi?
Hash base. It's worth interrupting
Hi,
this.
hash base.
We love you, bro.
Everybody loves hash base.
Shout out to hash base, and Moses base is also here. Okay, please go on. Yeah.
Yeah, I was saying that. What were we talking about? Yeah, espresso. So espresso, when there's more time, like it's more of an afternoon drink for me, where I put the machine on, let it heat up, then put the coffee in, tamp it, and make sure everything is coming out right. But in the morning, it's mostly the electric brewer, because it runs by itself, and I can just sit down immediately to sit and start reading
Yeah.
first thing in the
Put
morning.
water, throw the coffee in, kick it. It's on. अपने आप बन जाएगा.
हाँ, फिर वो खुशबू खुशबू आती है, and then it tells you that I'm ready.
आवाज आती है. It's a
Yeah.
process. It's a ritual. Okay, Lemuel's question.
When does content creation start to make you money? That's the question, right? So Lemuel, in 2 years of running the School of Bass, I have only seen money show in the accounts of the YouTube channel, but I haven't received anything. So it's been 2 years on YouTube with about 5,000 subscribers. I haven't earned anything in my hand.
Hmm.
So if you're looking at YouTube as some place where it's going to give you revenue right away, it's a long journey. It's a long journey, which is something that they make sure you invest time into it. I don't know. how many people quit halfway. But again, I'm not creating that content on YouTube to build revenue, but I'm creating that content to build trust. I'm creating that content. I'm letting people know I play and I travel because I want them to understand that I'm a real person like them.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'm doing is this. I'm not just sitting and telling them in front of a camera that, hey, if you do this, you'll be able to play a Bollywood gig. I personally feel that if if a fighter tells me how to fight, it just makes more sense. And if somebody who doesn't fight but knows about fighting tells me, it might make sense, but it'll be hard for me to trust them. So YouTube is a place for trust building. And if you talk about revenue generation, there are different ways. Like, for example, when people have enough trust in you, if you launch something, they'll buy it.
Mm.
Then you can use YouTube as a lead magnet or a platform where people trust you. You keep the trust alive. You don't create a product because they trust you and sell it to them, but your product needs to bring value to their life. Every video you put up needs to solve somebody's some problem, right? So I personally sit on the internet and look for what problems people are looking for and then solve it. Beginner based lessons in Hindi is a problem on the internet which has no search results, right? It does not mean everything that has no search results is a problem on the internet, but it's something that people have looked for. There are methods to do this. So you pinpoint that problem and then you try to solve it. So through YouTube, you add value to people's lives. Maybe later it gives you money. Yes. If you want to make revenue right away, there are other ways. Like what I did first was I made a bunch of documents to sell, like shapes of modes,
Right.
and all those things that people could buy for as little as 49 rupees or something. So if somebody wanted to know more about the modes or wanted a documented piece for something, so it generated some amount of revenue which at least came to my hands, and it was not a massive amount. Collectively, with 5,000 subscriber base, I reached an amount which was about 1,000 rupees, which is not big, but at least it's solving somebody's problems. The revenue generation aspect directly from YouTube is far. And for people who get a million views, 2 million views, they can make significant amount of money using YouTube directly. If you're trying to make money from YouTube directly, then you have to look into other avenues. Like, uh, for example, if you do unboxing and if you do latest product reviews, then you get more revenue out of those videos because a lot of ads are placed on those videos.
Yeah.
So it's a process. It's a long process in terms of making money off YouTube directly. But then again, trust building and launch your product, then you can make money whenever you want. You can make money off 1,000 subscribers also, 200 subscribers also. You can make it in a week or 2 weeks. It's totally up to you. All it needs is a strategy. That's what you need to think about. How are you going to do this?
I hope that answers your question in more detail than I didn't expect that much detail, but that's pretty good. I think that's the truth. I look at it this way that yeah, I think the views and subscribers is just one metric. The trust that you have and the specialization that you have or the niche that you're touching is the other very important metric. If you're just looking at making money, uh, and that's your metric that you want to solve, which is, I think, often it is often the inspiration. Okay, I need to sell in the end. So where do I start? And it might not be the best way to connect the start to the end. But and in fact, that is not even the end. When you made your money, you what do? You leave, you exit. That's not the end. But it's often the inspiration for a lot of people. What can I make that will sell? Even then, if you think about it, you can sell something like worth 10 rupees, like make a small product, like a little lesson or a base riff or a video, sell it for 10 rupees to 1 lakh people.
Mhm.
Or you could sell something like a different product for 100 rupees to 10,000 people. What are you going for? I mean, it's something that it changes a lot. You can even have high quality content where maybe even just you have 10 you have 10, 20 subscribers, but it takes care of your goals. So money is like, I have realized that let's not build the vertical, build the horizontal, like the base, and spread that, and make sure you're doing your thing well.
But what I feel is that particularly I absolutely have, uh, I acknowledge the need and the quick return on, if I invest time into something, I want to make revenue out of it so that I can sustain and make this content again and again.
Like
Absolutely fine. But for that, YouTube is not the place.
YouTube is not the place. Yeah.
YouTube is a search engine after Google. It's something where you are found,
Yep.
right, and trusted, and then the chain begins from there. If you want to make revenue right away, I would say study Udemy, study what's
Right.
that other one, Skillshare. Study all these websites and how they function, and how you can hack their algorithm in a way that you start ranking on top. Of course, your content has to be great, it has to be fantastic, but if you're looking for returns in terms of revenue right away, do not step into YouTube. Step into Udemy, step into Skillshare, step into these websites which allow you to share and earn much more revenue that you can ever earn on YouTube if you're small. So on Udemy, if a course sells for, let's say, 700 rupees, 350 as an example is going to Udemy, 350 is coming to you.
Yeah.
Udemy is marketing a lot. If your uh, course or whatever you have created is on top, then you will get to make a lot of money. If you hit, let's say, 10,000 people, then you make 35 lakhs.
Yeah.
If you hit 20,000 people, you make 70 lakhs, and it just makes a chain from there.
Learn to make a great course first, right?
You have to make a great course. You can't fool people anymore. You can't fool people. If you don't know something about something, it's better to not talk about it, or just be honest that, man, I don't know much about this, but yes, there are these bunch of things I know about, so let me just step into that, and then just build courses and sell on the other stuff like Udemy and all. Now, you have to understand, where do your people hang. You have to understand what problem you're supposed to solve and you're trying to solve. If you're not trying to solve any problem, like if there is no problem on Udemy related to, let's say, base courses, and if you try to see what's happening and how much people are looking for, let's say, a slab based course,
Mm-hmm.
then you don't need to do that. Like if there is nobody looking for a slab base course on Udemy, and there are ways to figure that out,
And your
then
goal
you,
was to sell,
yeah.
then yeah.
So if you're planning to sell a slab based course and you go and put it on Udemy, it does not mean it's going to sell.
Sorry,
What?
let me interrupt you 1 second.
Yeah.
Your goal is there should be a slab-based course on Udemy. I don't care if it sells. It great if it sells, but there is no one teaching slab-based. Let me make a slab-based course. That's out of love for passing on slab-based knowledge, and you're building your course. That
Yeah.
instinct is also there.
Yeah.
Then you are like, okay, let me put it and let's see what happens. If it sells, and you try to sell it, but your goal is to sell, get maximum sales. Then you wanna position your course as something what people would want.
See, the thing is that if nobody's looking for it,
Hmm.
right, then nobody will buy it. It's as simple as that, right? And your time is valuable.
Yeah.
If nobody's looking for a slab based course, you invest 2 months building a slab based course. You put your heart into it. I would rather suggest put it on YouTube then,
Hmm. Yeah. Exactly.
right? If your love is that, I just want to share the way I play slap bass, I've discovered a method which nobody has ever talked about.
Hmm. Makes
Put it
sense.
out there. Your love will show in what you create. There's no way you can hide it. Your genuineness of sharing whatever you know will show in what you do.
Right.
So when you put that out there, people will see that. And you have your niche getting ready. You have your following getting ready. Once you create a following, then you can tell them, hey, I have an in depth course on slap bass. Would you guys like to buy it if I put it out? These are the steps in it. Then you can generate revenue. But the point I'm making is it's hard to sell. Uh, what should I say? Uh, I mean, if somebody's not looking for it,
Right.
it's going to be like how in winters that ice cola is very hard to sell. Ice cream vendors in winters standing, they're just standing, man. Nobody buys the ice cream. Maybe one out of 100.
Maybe.
That's not the kind of sales you want.
Yeah.
And it's the same with Udemy. If you try to sell something that nobody's looking for, maybe you'll get one sale in 3 months,
Mm,
4 months,
yeah.
but that's going to be tough on you. Like, you want to make that kind of a sacrifice that you don't care what
Mm,
other people want to consume. But then again, you're not solving a problem.
mm,
If you're not solving a problem, you're not adding value to anybody's life. And
mm.
if you're not adding value, then it'll be hard for people to relate to you or anything that you're creating for it to go somewhere.
There is this thing. It's called the blue ocean strategy,
Hmm.
um, which is somewhere with what we're talking about. I think that's something to look into. Like, I shouldn't be like trying to explain my version of it, but the idea is it's based on a book, and the idea is like how many people are doing the same thing as you're doing, and can you create a new market? Can you do something else that, for example, like with the school of base or with any new, so basically it's a new uncontested market space that you create,
Yeah.
for selling your product, in a way, if that makes sense. So basically, if you step into some world where there's already a lot of competition, great products, then you are trying to beat competition. If you start something new in a way or undone in this particular niche or whatever, then you know then you make the competition irrelevant. Like, for example, you know what I'm talking about. There are other online, let's say, base courses, but if we talk about specifically in Hindi, then there is no competition in a way, uh, I mean it, in a way to put it, like if we do podcasts, for the two of us, if we are doing podcasts about the situation here locally,
Yeah.
all the other podcasts are not relevant to this particular situation as to how to get gigs in India, how to what to practice to play Bollywood.
Right. Right.
That's the blue ocean strategy. Yeah,
So then again, it comes down to that same thing. You're solving a problem which hasn't been solved,
right, correct. Yeah,
right? And how well do you solve that problem? And if there is nobody doing it yet, doesn't mean that it's not going to uh, uh, be a blank slate forever for
yeah.
you to write on.
Actually, copy you right away. As soon as you put your first thing out, there will be five people.
Yeah,
10.
I mean, that's fine.
Yeah, yeah,
But the beauty of all this is when you add value to somebody's life, when you change their lives by creating something,
yeah.
they are yours.
And
They value you the same way you value or think about them while you're creating your content. And that relationship, that loyalty is very hard to break. Nobody is buying a course, nobody is buying a product. They're buying the person.
person, yeah.
They are buying the person. They are investing in the person. They trust the person.
I guess when you're authentically you as well, you bring this uniqueness to whatever you're doing. That uh, it's just not copyable. And
Yes, but that does not mean that the other product that will be created, which is in the same niche as yours,
that'll
will
also,
not sell.
yeah, of course,
There are billions of people in the world. Everybody has a different appetite
right.
and they want dishes from different chefs, even if it is the same dish.
Exactly, yeah.
One can like it over the other, and it's absolutely fine. But what I feel is that whatever you want to do,
Hmm.
whatever you want to do it in a genuine manner. Don't fool people. That's not cool.
Yeah.
That's just not cool. You got to put out something that actually adds value, actually is a step by step course or whatever you're building.
Hmm.
Like, I'm a fan of this guy called Daniel Walter Scott. I
Okay.
studied all my softwares with him, and he's inspired me to a level that now I am going to study uh, UX design, for example,
Hmm.
like how UX and UI design works.
Oh,
How do I create?
yeah, you want to get into making apps, right? We had this private conversation.
Yeah, I mean, I'll learn how to do it. I don't know if I'll do it or I'll talk to somebody about doing it, but at least I'll know how to do all this.
Right.
Now, that guy genuinely wants you to do stuff.
Mm.
He really wants you to be good at, let's say, Photoshop or After Effects or whatever he does. Even if he teaches Excel, it's fantastic.
I was gonna come to this. Yes, please go on. Then I'll ask you maybe.
Yeah, I'm
So
actually I'm just saying I'm fascinated by the
how
way he adds value.
how do you do this? That okay, this one thing that I'm also, by the way, I'm writing down. I don't know, guys, if you're making notes, I'm writing down everything important that he's saying, because when you want to achieve, or when you want to follow someone else's path, find out what they were inspired by, what their path was. So if you like Victor Wooden's bass playing, find out what Victor Wooden used to listen to and try and play when he started out, or what inspires him. And that's the way to go, is what I believe. So I write down these things. That's why sometimes I grab a notebook and I'm like, Daniel Walter Scott, gotta look up this guy.
Oh,
Coming
he's
to this
fantastic.
question, how, I have this thing that in my mind, there's this thing, I believe that whatever you do it really well. So how do you, I mean, do you, first of all, do you think you're doing it really well, or is it always that, matlab, whatever I'm doing, whatever X person is doing, they'll always feel this could have been better? That's always there.
Hmm.
The other thing is, then beyond this, how do you, whatever you do, how to do it very well? So you made the school of bass thing, you made those lessons. I feel they're very well executed, even with limited resources and whatnot. So where is this aesthetic, or there's this vision coming from, of how good it has to be before it can go out?
It's just one thing ringing in my head all the time. Done is better than perfect,
Right.
which really saves my time and really helps me to create more rather than achieving perfection, which doesn't exist for anybody. That's the bottom line. I mean, there is no other thing going on at any moment, that if I'm creating a video, is it done, is it enough, is it blah blah blah, and the answer comes from inside. It's a little frame I have actually where I work.
Yeah,
Is
yeah, I've seen it.
pasted there.
Yeah.
Done is better than perfect. So it
But
just answers
a
me.
high level, it is a high level of quality in the, even in the school of bass lessons. And what is the minimum standard? How do you decide this good it has to be, and then you put in all the other efforts of getting the lighting right and getting this
So
right?
I have people who really inspire me,
Okay.
and they happen to become my benchmark.
Right.
Right. I'm not trying to uh, be like that. I'm going to do exactly what he did.
Of course. Yeah.
Like when I see Casey Neistat do a vlog, it inspires me.
Right.
That's my benchmark.
Yeah.
I'm going to make a vlog like that,
Hmm.
or I want to make a vlog like that. Now, do I don't release until it becomes that good? No, I do release, because done is better than perfect. I have my benchmark set. I want to evolve to that. So when your target or your benchmark is set, your inspiration is set, then your product will have something, some glimpses of some whatever you look up to,
Hmm.
right? So there is whatever amount of uh, you know uh, let's say quality right now of that inspiration that is going to creep into whatever I'm trying to create. So that's what it is for everything. That my benchmarks are all these people who inspire me. Eventually I would like to have the same quality of a vlog as Casey Neistat,
Yeah.
or eventually I would love to shoot like Peter McKinnon.
Hmm.
I see them on YouTube, I see how they function.
Right.
And these are the things. When I there's this channel called Bass Buzz, which
Hmm.
inspired me to have that fretboard on the left.
Hmm.
And I wanted that to happen. So I uh, I took a month where I studied After Effects, I studied graphic design, and I studied executing animation. And I made it happen because I wanted to do that. That was my benchmark, that, hey, my video needs to reach this place. It needs to look like this. So if something inspires me that I am fascinated by, I'm in awe of that, I want to create it. So I go for it then. Then whatever I need to learn, I'll learn. And whatever time I have to invest into it, I will invest. That's where all that is coming from. Now I'm trying to understand uh, what should my video lessons look like. I'm still in the process of learning, and how to put the camera, lights, and all. Still don't know much, but I'm doing my study a little bit here and there to make the product good enough, in a way that it's going up a notch, like basically competing with myself every day
Right.
to just a little better. Because there's things I'm seeing that I didn't even notice earlier. All my life, I didn't see colors properly. It doesn't mean I'm colorblind, but I
Okay.
didn't observe them. But here I am trying to see how Adobe Illustrator works because I have to put graphics into my
Right.
whatever video and all. And the guy tells me about the color wheel and
Yeah.
how colors work and how they complement each other, how the contrast. And I'm like, wow. Like right now when I'm looking at you, I can see yellows, reds, and everything. Like earlier, I wouldn't even see, I wouldn't notice.
Yeah.
I wouldn't see shades. I just didn't know. So that's where it comes from. It's the inspiration of inspiration coming from setting a benchmark. That guy, or but the thing is that it doesn't uh, put me down in a way that I know sometimes people say, hey, you want me, you're playing or whatever. We see something and people, how Victor Wooten wrote once that you make me want to quit playing bass is not a compliment,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? So the benchmark can be so high
Mhm.
that you feel that you can't do it only. But that's when done is better than perfect really helps. That's when you keep doing stuff. And
Yeah.
then it evolves. If you keep doing something, it's going to evolve.
Hmm. Okay. Let's talk about this thing now that we touched it. Okay. Earlier, you didn't look into colors, and when you start producing audio and you start mixing and all, you start to hear sound. Like right now, there's construction going on there. I hope my mic is not capturing, right? But when that's happening, my brain is decoding ADSR.
Huh.
Like it's through the window, and I'm like, okay, it's muffled, the highs are not there, that's
Hmm.
low sound, far away sounds. Your brain starts perceiving all of this auditory information through that. It's awake. Like as a composer, as a musician, anything you listen to, your brain's telling you the notes or whatever.
Right.
So I learned that if you're not EQing in your head all the time, if you're not engineering whatever sound you hear in your head, you're not an audio engineer. You're not like right now, you're not doing that. And as
Hmm.
a musician, I realized this is the one thing that was always missing. Anytime anything is playing, now my brain's like, oh, so this scene came and this riff came. Wow. I see the thing. I sing it back to myself. I memorize. This leads to a sneaky feeling. This leads to
Hmm.
this kind of a feeling. So brain is awake. It's lit. Okay. Did you? So this color thing is similar for you. Like now you see colors and you're thinking, do they sync up? Do they match? What's
Hmm.
happening? When you got into production, I know you produced music for a while. I've even heard 2 tracks you made. I've seen Nuendo or Cubase or something you had.
Yeah,
One
that
of
was Nuendo 1.
you had Nuendo one, right? In some old laptop back in Moti Bagh.
It's the same one I used to do School of Bass work, by the way. It was a 10-year-old laptop and it's still alive.
Wow, beautiful. So, you're one of the few people who did move from, let's say, you played bass. I know this. Then you said, okay, let's do vocals for a while properly. What led to that? Then you produced also a little bit. Then you said, "Nah, I'm playing bass.
Hmm.
Live performance is the thing. I love this the most." And whatever you got into more deeper harmony forms like jazz and these things. Like, so let's go to that thing. How did you first start playing bass? And we'll cover these major benchmark points.
See, the first thing I started playing bass was I was actually Anshuman Mishra, who's the
Yeah, yeah,
sound.
yeah. Yeah.
So I picked up guitar somewhere when I was in a guitar from somewhere when I was in class 12th, I think.
Okay.
Try to play it, and I used to think that I'm really playing. I barely could play. If you asked me to play a bar chord, I couldn't play. This
You
was
had
12th standard.
electric guitar, acoustic guitar, or yeah,
Gibson F cut guitar,
electric, acoustic.
acoustic.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
And I think around the same year or 2 years ago, some guy fooled me into buying a guitar which was not playable. So you could put your arm through that guitar. It was made by a carpenter. It wasn't made by any company.
Yeah.
So so he sold it to me for 500 rupees.
Okay.
So it never played. It was just sitting in the house, and I think one of my cousins, he still has it. He's been
Wow.
painting on it or something like that.
Wow.
So it's somewhere in the family, but didn't play it. Like try to get it, and you couldn't press the strings. Nothing's happening. Anyway, So that was the first time I saw an instrument and I wanted to do something with the instrument.
Okay.
This was around 10th grade.
Before that, no music lessons or nothing, or you did some childhood something.
When I was a child, a neighbor used to play keyboard, like small, that SA21, SA11. So I would ask ask him to show me how to do it.
Right.
And then somehow I could try and find out melodies as to
You
how
could,
to.
as a kid, little bit melody.
First, I used to copy what he's doing
Right.
because I just wanted to be cooler than him.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I just will copy. And but then again, I didn't have a keyboard, and you know how kids
Yeah.
are, that
Yeah.
hey, don't touch my toy or instrument.
Right. Of
These
course.
things were expensive, man, like
Yeah.
that time, and his family could afford it. So
My one of my cousins had that same SA21 small keyboard game, but somebody from abroad. He or she had the two brothers, my cousins, brother sister. They had some cousin abroad. तो कोई कीव से या कहीं दुबई यूएई से कहीं से आया था, वो लेके आया था. Otherwise, the keyboard was not happening in those.
yeah, it's not available on. You had to buy it in some gray market, black market somewhere. You had to go to buy one.
Yeah.
So this neighbor used to live across the. There was a little play field where I used to live, and then across that he used to stay. So he was a little far, and it used to be so quiet that time. There was little traffic and all that, so you could hear when he'll play in the house, and I could hear it.
Yeah.
So like baja raha hai, and I'm like, yeah, there's something about this, and I can't get my hands on it.
Yeah.
I'm little, and then the neighbor downstairs got one.
Ah, okay.
So now those that keyboard was something that I had a little more access to. Like I couldn't get it home because the auntie will be like, "Ghar nahi le jana."
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but I could access their house. I could ring the bell and go inside and make an excuse that I want to play with your son and all. And the kid was little, so her mother also, I think, got a little break from the child. That okay, whatever, you play with the kid and I'm free for a little bit.
Right.
But I used to use that time to see that if you press this button, there'll be a beat that will start playing.
Drums.
I
Yeah.
couldn't play anything,
Mm-hmm.
but then again, just the memory of seeing that guy play.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he played that button that time, that button, so I start copying it, and then something will happen,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'll go tell him that, hey, his name was Gaurav. See, I can play that song now. It's like, acha, main nahi manta, dikha baja ke. And then I'll play a little bit, and of course it's not right because I don't know how. Then one day I told my dad that, dad, please, just get me a keyboard.
Mhm.
And he's like, no, I can't get you. I said, I'll show you once, like I'll get from downstairs. Then I told the auntie that, upstairs my dad is just asking to play something. So I think I played Pardesi Pardesi or something like that. Or Tujhe Dekha To Ye Jana San.
Question: did you pick that out by ear as a kid?
No, I saw it.
The
eh,
I do it.
I memorized the fingers, the way the fingers were running around. So my dad bought it. That he's like, okay, he can play now. Of course,
Love
I
it.
can't play.
Please carry on this story. This is amazing. I'm
So,
little Saurabh in Motiwag carrying that.
oh, dude, it was hilarious. It was hilarious. Then my dad is like, okay, I'll get you.
Okay.
So, but I played SA21 for him. But he got me SA11 because that was cheaper.
Yeah, of course.
What's the difference between SA21 and 11 is SA11 does not have demo sounds. It does not have uh, two speakers. It has one speaker. The keys are slightly smaller. But see, he got it.
Yeah.
That's great.
Good. That's beautiful. Yeah.
It's amazing that I'm able to see those instruments right now in my head. But again, he got me one.
That's actually pretty awesome. Yeah.
And then whatever I tried to play with it, but as a child you don't have enough focus and all on those things. So few days it was nice happening and all exciting. Then I told my dad, no, then my dad told me that we'll get somebody to teach you.
Great.
I said okay. And then I think somebody showed up and he said that this keyboard is not nice, you have to get a professional keyboard.
Hmm.
Then my dad got me a keyboard called MA120.
Okay.
It could play three notes together or four notes together, but if you play more than that, it couldn't play. Like
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
used to get confused, like some
I
VST instrument.
remember this. Yeah.
So, but that guy said you have to do this, you have to use your both hands and all that. I gave up completely. I didn't play that keyboard for even more than 2 days or something.
Right.
But that was it. That the keyboard just stayed in the house for some reason.
But you had
And
keyboards now.
I have a Elisa's
No,
Q49.
like back then I'm saying now in the sense that that day when you got the MA one, you had two keyboards.
Oh yeah, I had two.
How
I
many
think no,
kids have two
I
keyboards.
the
So
other one was given away. I think.
pretty cool though. This is awesome.
So that was. I'll say that if I heard something, I knew that it can be played on an instrument. So I would definitely say that.
Okay,
And
interesting.
if you try experiment with a few notes here and there, you will find some notes which
Mhm.
are belonging to that melody or that song.
So you could do that little bit of like maybe not 100% accuracy, but
Yeah,
of
a little bit I could find.
something you'll be able to play a little broken melody or something, right?
Yeah, because I have to figure out how do I do this and all that. I'm trying to figure out.
What I was thinking was cut gaya in the sense कि demo चला जाएगा तो it will force you to figure things out more now. Like now you can't press buttons and get sounds. You have to play melodies as a kid.
Yeah, that's all we did. Like you just use a right hand, you find the melody, and you're good. You're good to go. And even like never played a full song because you don't have focus. You're a little child.
Yeah.
You play three lines and you're like you're the king of the world now. You
Abhi,
have to knock in that other door. Gaurav, तेरे को
yeah.
5 गाने आते हैं अब को दरवाजा खोल. So that's the mindset of a child.
So this was like maybe you were like 10, 8.
Dude, I was in fifth class or fourth class or sixth, fifth, yeah, fifth, something like that. I was little. I don't know how old that is.
Yeah, got it.
So then it was just like there's no music happened at all.
Mhm.
But when I got into, I think 10th or 11th or something, my brother he went to college, and he went to college. That meant, and he went to an engineering college. So he got in touch with all these guys who used to listen to metal and
Right.
all that. And he got a cassette home called Pantera. And
What?
that time they were all smuggled cassettes. You didn't have original Pantera, so photocopies. You can't see what's written. You can't see what's on the back. It's just
Yeah,
a
someone might have even taped it in their deck, either record the wire, either play the wire.
Wahi tha. That was what it was. It was just a copy.
Yeah.
And the thing played, and I heard it, and I couldn't believe what is this sound? What is this? Like I
Was
can't
it kind
believe. And you know what I thought about Pantera?
of-
There are 7, 8 drummers playing. There are 15, 20 guitar players. 7, 8 people are singing because there's no YouTube.
Hmm.
That's what I'm thinking of Pantera. And in my head, I used to keep doing air drumming. Just no non.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
was all crap.
yeah, yeah,
I,
of course.
I didn't know that the snare was here and the floor tom is there. So whenever a roll will come, I used to do it from the right side to the left side instead of the left side to the right side. So I didn't know. But all I knew that they do that, that when a roll comes, you go tick, 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 tick. So that was kind of funny. And again, I'm just listening to this stuff. Then he got a Nirvana cassette, and I was like, "What is happening?" And then I'm listening to Nirvana. Then I listen to Megadeth. Then Metallica.
Right.
So all this is blowing my mind, and I'm now completely into rock and this metal thing going on. So I'm listening a lot. I'm not playing anything.
Right.
Then I changed my schools where I met a lot of people from the Northeast.
Hmm.
They used to play guitar.
Hmm.
Used to play guitar, and I used to be like, I want to hang with them. And again, the same school thing that there was this whole thing that you can't hang with us. There was this whole thing of that Northeastern people were hanging as a group together.
Yeah, they don't let you in very easily. Yeah. As in, no one will. All groups, no group lets you in. You have to buy your respect first. You have to get
Yeah,
them.
I really wanted to play guitar, and they used to keep making fun of me all the time. That I just said, just I'll just be with you guys. And they're playing all this Hotel California and all, and mind is blown. How do you use so many fingers? What is going on? Then they showed me one chord, E minor. They said, you play this first.
Yeah.
So this is cool. Then I saw that, okay, E minor. All this is happening when I'm in 10th.
Right. Okay.
And uh, I have these cassettes at home to listen to. Sorry?
What school is this?
This is, I don't know if you know it, but it's the name was Hope Hall Foundation School.
Okay. Moti Bagh or somewhere there.
This was in RK Puram.
Okay, from Central. Yeah.
Now, Anshuman was also there in that school, and Anshuman bought an electric guitar once, and I was like, "This is so cool!" He's got an electric guitar,
Hmm.
and so I used to keep trying to hang with these guys, trying to figure out if I can learn some music, but I never learned anything. All I saw was they're playing,
Hmm.
and one person is better guitar player than the other, but they could all play.
Yeah.
Everybody in the family was playing or singing.
Hmm.
Everybody could do that, and I'll be this odd guy. And what I remember is when I'll go to their house or whatever,
Mhm.
their families will ask, "Who's this guy? Why is he even here?"
Yeah.
So it was strange. But the thing is that I was, for music, like music thing was so high on my list
Hmm.
that I didn't know where else to go and
And there's
who
no
else to be with to even know what a guitar does. There's no YouTube there.
Mhm.
Nobody's telling anything.
Right.
So after school, I used to be with them, try to hang with them. Come back home, then again go to their houses. Just, I don't know what they would be thinking about me, man.
एंट्री ले लेते थे हम लोग कहीं से भी दोस्ती हो ही जाती थोड़ी सी
हाँ, I tried very hard to hang around them, but then I think it completely stopped. And I found a teacher, his name is Himanshu,
Hmm.
close to my house, guitar teacher.
Okay.
And I was actually trying to figure out how to play a bar chord
Hmm.
because I didn't know how to play a bar chord. By
ज़्यादातर
this time, I have learned G, D, C,
Hmm.
and A, E minor,
Hmm.
right? And now I'm in 12th class. Now this is 2 years, huh? And
Okay.
I learned five chords or whatever.
So you
But I
get
have a,
C, D, E, and then F is the problem.
yeah, that's the problem.
G also is okay. G is
G is okay. Like I can't play bar chord because there was one song which had an F in it. And I was like,
जाएगी.
ये कैसे बजेगा अब तो ये गाने तो मैं मेरे को कोई बोलता था कि ये गाना बजा दो तो मैं पहले उनसे पूछता था इसमें एफ कॉर्ड है क्या
Yeah, yeah.
if they say yes then I'll be like I can't play this song
हाँ.
but somehow um, I
यही
picked up
तो मैंने बेस पकड़ लिया था.
so this guitar thing was just there like I think it was more close to 11th actually 11th is when it was happening and I flunked my 11th I tried it twice
Right.
the first I got science
Hmm.
couldn't pass then I took commerce then then it was all good like I topped and everything it was I just that's
Hmm.
another story but
Okay. Why?
coming back
Go ahead.
coming back to the guitar part
Hmm.
all this is happening when I'm playing in 11th grade and I find a teacher close to my house his name is Himanshu
Yeah.
and he showed me a few things that you have to play this like this play
Hmm.
guitar like this and it's not that a lot of practice or anything is happening but yes now music has become something that I'm aware of
Right.
something that I know more about than anybody else in my environment in my surroundings so there is some inclination towards it
Hmm.
then I had changed my school by this time okay so I don't know where Anshuman is
Oh.
now here's the funny aspect of that time when there was no Facebook no proper internet communication
Right.
I remembered that Anshuman used to play guitar. I must meet him.
Yeah.
I must meet him.
Must find
I
him.
used to take my mother's scooter. I used to go to RK and roam around on the streets looking for Anshuman. Because all I knew is Anshuman lives in RK. Why? Because he plays guitar. I used to think I play guitar, but
Yeah.
I was just playing a few chords.
Right.
And I'm looking for Anshuman. And here's the amazing part of it. I found him one day.
Sweet.
I just found him. He was playing cricket with one of his friends, Ripple Barua,
Oh,
actually.
he's playing with Ripple.
Yeah, Ripple and Anshuman were playing together cricket. They were playing cricket. And I said, Anshuman, it's like, Arey, Saurabh, what are you doing? I said, bro, I can play guitar now. Said, okay. Then Ripple asked me. Now, Ripple has been
Ripple.
shedding since childhood. Huh?
Yeah.
We are
Sweet
talking about playing some really, really intense stuff since childhood. Like he can play since
man.
the beginning. So Ripple is asking me now, what all do you play? Can you play Metallica? I said, yeah, I can play the one. Now I'm saying I can play the one, but you know what all I can play from the one? Dun, 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 dun,
Yeah.
dun, dun. That's it. Game over. After that, I can't play anything.
The bits. Yeah, you can do the bits.
He said, okay, let's go home and we'll play.
Yeah, sweet.
So we went home,
But
and
you
then
are
Ripple was on like fire. He was like, check this out. He's playing everything, playing arpeggios and going. And I look at Anshuman, and Anshuman is going. They're all playing metal like mad.
they even know how to make the guitar face.
Yeah, they made all kinds of faces, bro. Everything. And then I just know, okay, I can't do shit.
Oh man.
But I made it a point I should hang with these guys.
Okay. Yeah.
I said, man, I want to be with you guys, and I would just sit with the guitar. There was no bass that time. But then it so happened that his dad was a musician and he also had a job. I forgot his father's name,
No, Ripple's dad.
Ripple's dad.
Okay, okay.
But he had a band and everything. So
Wow.
the band had disbanded or something had happened. There was
Shit.
one amp in their house
Wow.
and there was a bass, old bass. His dad's band's name was Spectrum.
Man.
So I got my hands on that thing. He said that you play this, you press it here when I play this, learn this riff, try to do it with the pick.
Mm.
So okay, so that's my first time when I'm holding a bass. Then I'm getting to know, oh, what is this thing? And then it just became a thing that I'll go there in the evening after school. I'll sit with them and they'll tell me to hold something, hit something. So this is the first time I'm kind of trying to know what this instrument does. I still don't know what it does,
Yeah, yeah.
but all I knew is what I'm supposed to do.
Right, exactly.
When they do that, I do this. That's how it works. So I still wanted to play guitar. So I don't know, but I couldn't because it's just
Record नहीं आती थी.
मेरा मतलब I didn't have that discipline, man.
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't have that discipline to go through a whole song, and I don't know what was up with me, but just didn't have the discipline to get things done. Uh, that was my first time that I touched the bass. Now this leads to another world where we decided to form a band.
Nice.
We found another drummer. His name was Jerry. Then another drummer called Akash. We started playing stuff. Now, when Jerry or Akash, I don't remember who was playing drums that time, Ripple and Anshuman had gone to another school called Surajbhan DAV.
Okay.
And we were supposed to, and they applied for some competition, inter-school competitions called Fireball and MXTC and all that. Now, I'm in a different school that time. I had moved to another government school. I was studying there.
Mm.
And these guys were in this different school and they applied from there. Now, we already have a band kind of a thing going on. All this is happening when I'm in 11th class.
In Ripple's house, the practices are happening.
Practice is happening there in his balcony. You put a bed sheet. I'll tell you about the drum kit in a bit. It's very interesting how the drum kit happened. So now they said we have applied for competitions. So you have to disguise as a Suraj Bhan student. You come over, we'll give you a uniform.
Spare uniform तो होते ही है.
And then I went there. He said, just wear a white shirt and a white trouser. Rest of the stuff we'll arrange. So they arranged a tie for me. They arranged a belt for me. Any judges who are listening right now, I'm sorry for that time, but we didn't know any better. So we went to Fireball. They went to Fireball. The DPS community or team, whoever was assigning slots, they said that, oh, you're from a DAV. We don't allow DAVs and government schools to participate. We don't. And Ripple took it personally. It's like, I'll show them who we are and all that. Imagine little children doing all this.
Rock and roll also now. So like,
Yeah, he's still
वो-
rock and roll.
you know that Amir Khan movie, the cycle race movie. What was that?
Yeah, जो जीता वही सिकंदर.
वाली बात हुई ना फिर तो ये.
हाँ, the Ripple is like all like I'll show them, and then I remember we played Four Horsemen,
Oh shit.
and we played one more song I can't remember right now, but Four Horsemen was played. Another
That's
one was.
the song, huh? For like school and all.
This is 11th class, and it all could happen because Ripple could play,
Play.
and Anshuman could hold a riff.
Yeah.
You hear that Nagin song, that band?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when it started. That's where we played it for the first time ever. that famous Ripple Barua Nagin.
The first sort of decibel ka mother of decibel or whatever.
Yeah, so that's where it happened first time in that sound check, and people's minds are blown that what the hell is he doing?
And how is the drummer? Because for this kind of music, the drums are most essential.
So
Okay.
again, Jerry was also disguised because he was from Mount Carmel.
Oh, sweet.
So we are doing all these,
Present.
yeah. So we are doing all these scams, changing uniforms and all that. But anyways, now that time is
He
gone,
was
and
good. The drummer could play because
yeah, yeah, I mean,
up
see,
the.
I don't remember, man. I don't know how good it was, but the thing is, we made it through the song,
Hmm.
and we had practiced so much,
Hmm.
because then eventually the practice shifted to my house in
Hmm.
Motibag on the terrace. We had a room, and we used to practice there day in and day out, full blast volume. Just keep playing the three songs again and again.
So Four Horsemen, Nagin, and
And one more song I'm not able to remember.
beautiful. This is awesome, actually.
But then we won. We won everything. We won the best guitarist, best band, best this and that. It was quite a victory after, that whole Ripple said that, how could they say all this to me? And I'm going to show them. So that filmy thing happened, full
Yeah.
power.
Full power.
And then this happened over a period of good 7-8 months. And for me, that's it. It was a wrap. Completely wrap up Western music.
Wow.
12th class, switch to Indian classical.
What triggered that? Like,
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I would say that at that time, that point of my mental understanding, I started meditating and all.
hmm,
So I switched from all that to uh, uh, listening to all that music. I thought, it's not just sitting in with the kind of life I'm trying to live.
right. Yeah.
So I switched listening to different things. Like I won't be able to listen to death metal and meditate at the same time. So
It's tough to switch between those two.
yeah, so and of course, I'm young, I'm trying to experiment, I'm trying to see what all I can do with my life.
Yeah.
So I got into meditation, then I and it was 12th class, so you got to focus on studies and all. So I told these guys that I can't play anymore, and I just not going to do this. So I'll say that I played 7-8 months of
Yeah.
5-7 songs
Yeah.
on the bass with a pick that time,
Yeah.
with 2 fingers or 3 fingers, I don't
This
remember.
was Ripple's dad's bass or something.
So somebody, yeah, that bass I think was given back, and then somebody who needed money sold me a Gibson Challenger
Yeah.
that time for 1,500 rupees.
Perfect.
But hey, here's the thing: we landed a gig during that time,
Sweet.
a New Year's gig for 10,000 rupees.
Wow.
I went to my mother. I said, "We have got a gig, but
Hmm.
we don't have drums. Can you give us some money
Yeah.
so we can buy drums?" And you could buy a drum kit for 5,000 rupees in Daryaganj that time.
Hmm.
We took an auto,
Those
went there, we bought drums, and we came back. And then we got paid for the New Year's gig, which was 10,000 rupees. And we gave 5,000 to my mother.
wow.
And it was all good.
Sweet.
We were in business that time,
This
like one
doesn't
gig.
always work out like that. I think you realize that when 10,000 is promised and you're able to pay back.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
that was
we
good luck, huh?
nobody showed up on the gig. The whole event was a flop. It
Oh,
was not that we were the only band
right.
playing there. There was a DJ and everything. It was a 3-floor party being conducted at some Surmila Hotel. That's what the name was, hotel of
Wow.
the place was.
So you guys must have practiced a pop set for that gig.
Yes, we did. We got a singer also, and that singer, I think, I'm not able to remember his name. He's a very famous Bollywood cat right now. I'm not able to remember what his name is, but he's done good Bollywood bits here right now.
Nice. So Ripple must have always known the singer. He must have brought in the singer. Like,
I
hey,
don't remember.
you
No, actually, one of my colony friends,
oh, nice.
friend, he was his friend. Again,
Okay.
very good singer, and he's pretty known now. I'm not able to recall his name. I'm sorry if you're listening, but my memory just keeps fluctuating like this. But anyways,
It was a long time back.
so that guy basically has made it big now. He's doing very well for himself, and that thing happened that time. So I made my switch. I switched to Indian classical, and I realized that okay, if I'm doing this, if I'm going to be meditating, why not just, I like music, but I can't play all this now. It's just not
Then-
sitting in.
Yeah.
That's when the switch to Indian classical happened. That's when I started to get more inclined towards what's happening in a rag and what is happening. I started attending Indian classical concerts, completely shifted to it, completely. Everything I heard, everything I had was packed up. I didn't even touch it. I don't even remember where it all went. I think it went to my cousin Sunny, who now lives in Canada. And then the rest of the journey begins. Then the rest of the journey begins where I study Indian classical music with a teacher
Five,
in private. Sorry.
5 years.
So yeah, about 1 year privately with somebody close to my house. Then 3 4 years in my college, Faculty of Music and Fine Arts, and then after that I switched uh, to music production,
Mhm.
and I wanted to play bass again.
So before music production, this 3 year you said was a degree, was an undergraduate degree you got in music.
It's a degree. It's a proper degree in Indian classical music. But the thing is that uh, you don't you don't learn much there.
You reach mastery of most subjects or something. You get the premise, I think.
Yeah, but the thing is that even the way the a lot of teachers there are not performers.
Right. Yeah.
Only a handful, not even a handful, only a few can sing. If you ask uh, a lot of people there, they don't perform. So they don't, if you make them sit and do a concert, they won't be able to do it. If you make them sit and like so many times the teachers never sang an antara uh, of a bandish because it was high. So all this is there, like it's not a balanced place to study Indian classical. But yes, I mean, I studied with other teachers while I was there,
Got it.
and I don't want to get into the details of that college because it's a really uh, it's a strange place, man.
Yeah.
It's a
Most
strange place.
musical education experiences can be questionable, so I understand that. Like,
That's a strange place. But I mean, I am grateful for the time I spent there because I did build a network of like if I want to get in touch with the Indian classical community now,
yeah,
it's much easier for me because I spent all those years there.
yeah, definitely. And I think you got a basis in sort of ear training. A lot of ear training must have happened for
Yeah,
sure.
relative pitch, solid.
Which, yeah, I remember when I met you, you had very good relative pitch for sure. You
Yeah.
hear any melody and know what it was already. You didn't have to figure it out. Um, I'm wondering, this is somewhere you also met Manish Babu, right?
Oh yeah, Manish Babu, I met. Yes, I think
Right.
somewhere in this
With
college.
meditation and the
Yeah,
witness
in the meditation camps
camp.
also.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So, because you did get into fusion bands when you started playing bass again. So
Yes,
you played
yes.
a lot of fusion. I remember Vedanta or something. Now, in fact, I have not thought of this in the longest time, but I saw your band play that India Habitat Center thing, and you were playing bass. You had longer hair, and I haven't thought of this gig ever. I didn't know how I met you actually. That's maybe where we met.
I met you. I came up to you and I met you. I remember that.
Oh, tell me.
You were playing a gig at Turquoise Cottage, and I had never seen pedals ever in my life. You had pedals.
Yeah, I did.
I was like, this guy is so cool. He's got pedals. So I came up to you and I paid my respect that, hi, I'm Saurabh. And,
Yeah,
you
bass
know,
players love to meet each other. This is the best thing. Wow, thank
s-
you for coming up to me and meet.
yeah, I came up to you. I clearly remember you coming down the stairs from upstairs. You had just had your dinner or something.
I had blue bass. I had a blue bass.
I'm not able to remember the base exactly,
Before or after? Okay, there was a before or after for me. So, anyways, yeah,
but there were hardly any bass players that time.
yeah,
So when I
definitely.
knew somebody is playing bass, and I was like,
Yeah,
wow.
we had to meet bass players. I really think the day I saw you play the India Habitat Center thing, Vedanta was the name of the band, right?
There's Vedanta. There's another band I played with called Shwas. That was the other fusion band.
Gig, and I think this must have been after. Maybe you told me, and that's why I was there. I don't know why I would be at India Habitat Center otherwise. And then I do remember coming up to you after the gig and being like, "How do you do this?" Your hand moves all over the neck, you know.
No, because I didn't know how to play, but I knew which sound does what.
Yeah, yeah.
That's all I knew that time. I didn't know where the scale is.
Is that how we first met at Turquoise Cottage, though?
Yeah, yeah. I remember meeting you very, very
How
clearly.
big it was. Like this is so.
I think it was. Did you ever play with Justine Royals?
No,
No.
I don't think so. I remember. So there must have been a few gigs at TC, but one was with Vasav and Manta and all these people. I played in a Anirban ka band
I
sec.
think you were playing with Vasav. I think you were
Vasav,
playing with Vasav.
Anirban Ghosh, Nitesh.
Yes, Anirban used to play guitar that time.
We played Rage Against the Machine songs.
Yeah, something like that. Something like that. Because that time rock was big in Delhi. Everybody used to play rock.
It was so loud that gig. Yeah, rehearsals for the. Yeah, wow. Respects for rock. Okay, we missed one question. Sorry, huh? And I think Lemuel has been waiting for a long time. It's the
Mm.
last chat comment, and we'll jump back to this journey of going into music production for a little while. Okay.
Yeah.
It says one more question, please. Thank you. Does love for sharing come with the practice of sharing, or do you have this love within you before you even start?
No, I think you uh, you need to understand the value in giving value. So when you start giving value, you will start loving sharing. That's how I see it. That's my perspective. When you see somebody's life change because of something that you did, you will fall in love with that process. So if you're a person who's looking or waiting for something to change inside and develop enough love for it before you give it out,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's that's a perspective that one is born with or functions with, in my opinion again. But there is so much joy in making something easy for yourself. First thing, how you make something easy for yourself. If you made something easy for yourself and you share the same concept with somebody else, their life becomes easy. And that's when you fall in love with the process rather than love of sharing. It's I feel that it's love with the process of just giving.
Yeah, man. I think it also stems from this journey that we're talking about, that we didn't have resources. We had to find that somehow by luck and sheer perseverance. Koi mil jaye to dikha de, thoda sa kuch bata de. So it's we start to see how much that one step influences us. And I think maybe some seed gets planted from early on like that, that if we are able to do something like that for anybody, because these people who taught you some basics in the beginning, maybe gave you a little guitar, bass guitar to play, they did things which were a little extraordinary. You're given, huh, okay, come play, I'll show you. Even someone just saying E minor, it's just out of their thing, like, okay, let me show it to this person. And
Hmm.
at that time you have nothing else, and you're like, you can never forget that one guy showed me something.
Hmm.
So I think maybe, I'm not sure, but this could be a part of it. So we come up with this thing that if there is something that could benefit others, we want to be, because we really remember that person being awesome. It's not about being cool also, I think. Like my first music teacher changed my life, and I think maybe I do this right now because I'm like, maybe some kids will see this and they'll do what they do. And they could write code for all I care, but they'll write code in the way they want to write code.
Right.
I guess I'm just saying that's just my addition to this thing about sharing and the love for sharing. Because you said this, right? When you would watch these podcasts and it would inspire you, and now you would want to somehow pass it on,
Yeah.
because we
Yeah, man.
really value this. Even now, although there's so much internet, there's so many podcasts, when you find that one podcast that really fires you up, you're like, man, if I can, I would love to pass this on to somebody, in my way or whatever. Or maybe, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a fan of problem solving, man. And specifically, like, of course, tangible and emotional. Like, I'm a bigger fan of emotional problem solving.
Mm.
'Cause if you can break that down, if you can understand that, and the best way to do that is to be not emotional when you're trying to break emotion down. So the best way is to actually write things down. is
Beautiful.
to journal, because you can take a step back and look at what you're thinking.
Mm.
So if you have too many questions before you start something,
Mm-hmm.
your emotional brain is going to take over and won't let you decide anything logically. That's why any cat, anybody who's made it big, they'll always tell you to write things down. So it comes naturally that that's the solution. But why is that the solution? Is because it activates the logical part of your brain. When you're logical, you make logical decisions. Will emotion kick in time and again? Yes, it will. What do? You journal. When
Mm.
you're writing, you're logical. You can be emotional as well while you're writing. It's absolutely fine. But still, you have the opportunity to take a step back and see what's going on.
Right.
So, whatever kind of feelings you're getting before putting out content or starting to create or starting to share, take a few minutes off, hours off, whatever. Sit with your computer with the notepad open, or sit with a pen and paper, whatever works for you. Start writing. You'll reach a conclusion about everything or anything. And you'll love the chat you have with yourself when you're writing things down. It's fantastic. It's really fantastic.
That's a profound thing you just said. If you have questions, if you have lots of questions about lots of things, let's say you have questions about life and you're unsatisfied in a lot of ways, you won't be able to focus on what is it that you set out to do. And like solving your emotional problems first might be one of the keys to doing anything well later on, because the things that are troubling you will come up as you do these difficult things on the way.
Yeah. Yeah, they'll come up. Your current relationship issues will come up.
Mm.
So, more than solving them, there are uh, ways of challenging them and handling them.
Okay.
But it's not that, see, emotional issues are natural to us. You have them with yourself, and of course, you're going to have it with others. Of course. But what do you do when A happens,
Mm.
right? There are certain ways of behaving, there are certain things you learn, there are certain reactions, responses you develop. There are certain states you can be in so that your rest of your day is functional. If every little trigger brings anger in you,
Mm.
yes, you won't be able to work through the day.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, if you have understood that any trigger is bringing me anger,
Mm.
you need to understand anger a little more, spend some time with it, journal, get some resources to understand how things work. It's going to be very helpful. It'll improve the quality of your work. Do you stop working when you're feeling emotionally overwhelmed? To my experience, no, because I also see that as part of resistance.
Right. Yeah.
That also happens as a part of resistance, that you'll feel and you'll put yourself into situations which are unnecessary. Continue your work. You've gotten into an argument with somebody, your partner, your family, your parents, but it's time to work. With respect, leave the argument. That I'm sorry, I'm going to sit down for work right now. I really want to talk about this. We'll come back to this. I'll finish my work and we get back to it.
Beautiful.
And then you begin again, because you really want to keep this understanding of that if you're trying to build anything, manifest anything, these things will happen around it. Now, is it an emergency? Is it urgent? Is it important? Is what you need to decide. Emergencies you need to attend to. That's very different. Urgent, you can make a decision. Important, you can reschedule. So that's what I feel that you need to think about when you are entering emotional imbalances. And when it comes to hamper or harm your work time or work environment. Because when you start working, sometimes you are over that emotion completely. And your arguments about the same thing can be much more logical. And when you manifest, when you feel empowered also, you feel more self you've got this thing going on where there's more self confidence. When you have self esteem, self confidence, self worth, you feel better.
Yeah.
You feel better, you talk better, your insecurities are less. It is magical to manifest, but then the cycle is that it won't let that happen that easy.
Yeah.
All these things will interfere because you're walking towards becoming a superhuman who
Mm.
loves himself, who is going to redefine himself by creating stuff. Yesterday, I was listening to Dr. Phil talk to Joe Rogan.
Oh,
Fantastic way of defining self esteem and self worth. I'm sorry, I'm going off topic right now,
let's explore this a little bit. Yeah.
but I was blown and I got goosebumps.
That's right.
Everybody talks about self worth and self esteem.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Dr. Phil said. But nobody talks about what it is and how one develops it,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
You should have high self esteem, is what everybody says.
Mm-hmm.
He said that how do you form an opinion about somebody?
Right.
You watch somebody come to work, you see that he comes 15 minutes before it's time to work. You see, he eats his lunch on time, he exercises, he's good with what he does, he's always on point with whatever tasks he or she is given.
Yeah.
And you form an opinion about him. He's a good guy.
Hmm.
How do you form an opinion about yourself?
Correct.
Is your self esteem, is your self worth. So when you do great things, you feel good about yourself. So you do, you come up, you have adversities, you want to, achieve your goals. That is going to define you. If you're quitting again and again, that is going to define you. How do you build self esteem? By doing great things, by defining your opinion about yourself. And it brings so much joy, man, once you have that set for you. Then if somebody says shit to you, you don't doubt stuff. You
Doesn't.
don't doubt yourself,
Yeah.
rather. You have a clear opinion about yourself,
Right.
that I am this person. And then if this guy shoots and calls me a bullshitter, you're clear.
Yeah.
You're clear. You've built self esteem, you've built self worth.
Mm-hmm.
So he's saying, if you do not do good things, do great things, overcome adversities, you will not be able to define yourself in a proper manner.
Right.
You will not be able to have a proper opinion about yourself. And if you do not have a proper opinion, proper things done for yourself, you won't have enough self worth, self esteem, self confidence to step into situations which is a next step for your life, which is going to make you even a stronger human being.
Right. Bang on. Yeah.
So I feel like you got to build it step by step, and you got to do small things, achieve them, define yourself. And you don't have to think that define meaning like Varun Kapahi is equal to blah, blah, blah. It's not like that. You'll feel a change. You'll feel a change inside you. You'll feel a change in the way you talk to the world. You'll feel a change about the way you walk. Maybe you walk like this, now you walk like this.
Right. Yeah. I
Those kind of changes will happen.
see things like just more light and more peripheral vision. I don't know if that is true. If you ever felt that way.
I haven't felt that, but uh, what I've definitely felt is, yeah, a lot of physical changes. First of all, physical changes, like, but just be. I used to ignore conflict
Mm.
so much, because I just didn't know what to do inside it, and I used to make stupid decisions because of that. But there are many changes, man. I mean, can't put them down like this, but
Yeah, I get you.
it's the important part is that when you do hard things, you define yourself. So you have to be comfortable with discomfort. You have to get into that place where you don't feel like going. Now, this does not mean that you create unrealistic goals for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You have to do difficult things, which means challenge yourself, have achievable, clear goals. Anybody who's done anything is not that it was the love of their life always and it was like easy to get.
Yeah.
Doesn't work like that.
Right.
It will be uneasy, it will be uncomfortable, it will be frustrating. It's normal. But stop thinking about it so much. Step into it, start doing it, face the issues, and learn how you resolve issues, and you keep moving. There is no end to this journey that one day you'll sit and relax. Your relaxation is actually something really active. Again, my opinion. I don't know what others think about it,
Mm-hmm.
But I believe in active rest. If I have to take a break, I'll cycle for 150 kilometers.
Right.
What did I do? I took a break. But that doesn't sound like a break to anybody, but it redefines me. When
Mm.
I'm going through that process, when I'm going through those challenges that I'm not able to cycle back home, there's a lot going on in my head. I'm
Mm.
telling myself, like, I have this dream of climbing the Mount Everest, for example. I
Yeah.
keep telling myself the sun is hitting my head and I'm cycling on this Vasai highway trying to come back to home. And my brain is like, you want to climb the Mount Everest and you can't cycle back home.
Yeah.
This is how you're going to do it. Are you sure? Are you sure? Those things are happening in my head.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, when I come home, the amount, the intensity of relaxation, the amount of redefining of myself, the addition to my self-worth that I experience is quite incredible. It's unreal.
Writing down what you're saying. Okay. This is. I hope the anyone else who watches this makes notes. This is the point to be making notes. How do you solve this? Then you spoke about conflict and kind of avoiding it, and there's internal conflict also, like a lot of it, and then there's external conflict. And I feel might be wrong, but when you work on your internal conflict, a lot of external conflict is already kind of taken care of sometimes. At least at some every external conflict has an internal element to it, so at least that much maybe, you know.
I think internal conflict solving helps you attend to the external conflict
It gives
object.
you the ability to try and now fix that. If you haven't done your internal conflict resolution
They happen together.
together, okay.
They happen together, to my understanding, because you don't know what's coming to you next
Yeah,
at
that's
an emotional level. Because if you sit in the room and you decide that I solved it all,
right. You have to face the outside world and
yeah. But the thing is, it helps you being to become objective. It helps you really, when you've sat down and understood yourself a little extra. You're not going to understand yourself completely,
right.
but you will start becoming honest when you're journaling, no, and you know this piece of paper is just for you, and you're going to rip it apart or delete the file. You're fine. Then you'll write the real shit, who you are. You might be a bad person and you might have thought you're a good person,
Mm-hmm.
or you might be a very good human being and you might have thought you're a bad person because others have told you so.
Yeah. Or you
So
did
you,
five messy things and 500 great things, but you focus on what you want to focus on.
yeah, I mean, you're when you sit and journal, you're trying to solve whatever you're going through. If there's a conflict you have had, or if there's a conversation you had with somebody and it triggered something in you, you can solve it on a piece of paper, yes, but that doesn't mean it's solved. It's just given you the the contribution of power or the fuel to be able to be in that conflict so that you can resolve it with that person. That's how I look at it.
So to solve emotional conflict, internal, external, either one, so your number one thing is journaling? Is that what you would suggest to like, or
S-
what are the tools to solve these issues where
if
you?
you struggle a lot, you should get some cognitive therapy for
Hmm.
sure,
What is
because
this? What is cognitive therapy?
cognitive is related to thinking.
Hmm.
Therapy, just psychotherapy in
Yeah,
general.
psychotherapy. Yeah, with the therapist, right? With a professional.
Be with a professional. If you feel there are things that are extremely unresolved, that's a good support system.
That's a good support system. Yeah,
It's a great support system. I went for therapy for 2 years. Life has been
it's
really good since then.
marvelous. Yeah, I mean, we think it's something like I have had friends who said I don't want to resort to it, think something like that. You know that I don't think that's an option I want to fall back on. I think it's beautiful. It's one of the best building blocks of life. Sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, again, quoting Dr. Phil again, he said that any issue,
Yeah.
like when we think of a psychological issue or psychological illness, it's not any different from thinking of a knee injury. It's almost the same.
Right. Yeah.
It's almost the same thing. So you have to approach it like that. Plus, there are deeper roots and deeper layers to human emotion that sometimes if you are struggling with stuff you won't be able to unfold.
Yeah.
So you get therapy to get another perspective, you get therapy to reach the root of what you are struggling with and where is it coming from.
Yeah.
And then you might remember something from childhood that has laid the path of your life and your decisions till now. You
True.
might be 30, 35 now,
Yeah.
but the truth is some things can have a really deep impact.
Definitely.
Does this mean you're in pain because of somebody else did something to you? No, it's not like that. It's not a blame game that you go to the root cause and you say that that person did like that, that's why I'm behaving like this today, or I'm angry all the time because something like this happened in my childhood.
Right.
No, it's not like that. You understand that, you go back to that time in your head, in your whatever the processes the therapists follow, you resolve it then and there, and you start all over again from this new understanding of you, and you build self-worth. So if you're really struggling to unfold or deconstruct what's going on in your head, you can take help of therapy. But journaling is great, and reading is critical
Mm.
to have emotional fitness. Like when you have emotional fitness,
Right.
it's like a physically fit guy. When he falls ill in a different manner. If
Yeah.
you punch him,
Yeah.
he's not going to fall,
Yeah.
right? He'll take the impact, and he might get injured also, but it's going to heal like this.
Mm.
So there is emotional fitness also that everybody needs to cultivate
Definitely. Yeah.
to be in harmony with yourself and be in harmony with whatever is there around you. So those things, kind of start intertwining then, and then uh, you are able to create more, you're able to generate more, you're able to be more honest, things like that.
Definitely. This is profound. Yeah. So this is actually key. Emotional fitness, not having a lot of conflict within you, will help you do your things, be able to focus on what you have to do. And the way to get to emotional fitness, the three big building blocks that we spoke about are therapy, journaling, and reading in
Yeah,
whatever you
and
may.
there are specific books
Okay.
for, like, one a very important book for emotional fitness is called Emotional Intelligence.
Okay. Bye. Let's
I
put that
think Daniel Goleman, I think, I'm not able to remember.
second. Okay.
But if anybody's getting into reading that book, it's a long book,
Mm-hmm.
but it's a very rewarding book.
Again, I put it
Emotional Intelligence.
emotional intelligence by Daniel Goleman. Yeah.
So it's a great book.
Sweet.
The other thing I feel is important, uh, the book I really feel is important for anybody to uh, grow, enjoy, and relish life experiences is called Flow.
Flow. Yeah.
Yeah. It's by Mihaly, and last name I can't speak, is some big Russian last name,
Yeah.
and I don't know what the last name is. But this book is just been again my go-to in a way that I think of done is better than perfect. This book tells me and has given me direction, and that whole anxiety of what is future going to be like. This book has changed that for me.
Mm.
It has taught me to be joyful, and it has taught me to live experiences in a way that I could have never imagined before. So three things in the book which are most important are:
Mm-hmm.
have a clear achievable goal.
Okay.
The other one is uh, you do difficult things.
Yeah, yeah. Get out of your comfort zone. Is it similar to?
It's that whatever you're focusing on, your goal needs to be challenging.
Yeah.
And third is full attention.
Mm.
That whole phone ringing and this and that doesn't work like that.
Great.
So this is optimal experience. This is the combination of an optimal experience. You can have an optimal experience while you're editing a video.
Mm. Yeah.
You can get into the state of flow while you're editing a video. How do you do that? You have a clear goal. I need to finish this edit in 1 hour. You give it full attention. You switch off your internet. You switch off your phone. Third, you do a challenge. I'm going to put graphics into it.
Mm.
Right? And there you are, your state of flow. You can do this to your practice session. You can do this to your career.
Yeah.
When you finish this stuff, the contentment you'll have
And
is unreal.
it's unreal.
That's the optimal experience. And I feel that these two books, Emotional Intelligence, Flow, greatest for anybody to read in order to it kind of give you assurance about having an amazing life.
I I can I haven't I don't know if I've read Flow a long time back. I'll just share an incident. I dedicated this whole week from Monday until Saturday, Friday, Monday till Friday to building my website, squarewebstudios.com.
Yeah.
I had already failed at it twice, maybe with my brother, with my friends. This time I was like, I'm gonna sit down, I'm gonna do it by myself. I'm not gonna get someone on TeamViewer to help me. I'm gonna do this.
Mm.
I think it was Wednesday night that I was very close to completion.
Mm.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday night, maybe. I slept so happily. I had never worked for myself before that day. Like a
Yeah.
full day of work for myself, for my studio, for what I've built. I wanted to put it on this on the website. All the work I've done, make it look good. I had to write my bio. I faced problems that I didn't think I'll face that day. I didn't have icons. I didn't have this, that, whatever.
Mm.
But when it's still not done. Domain name is now not connecting. Okay, sure. I have built my website. I'm waiting to figure that out.
Yeah.
But you know what? That day I have slept. I think I haven't slept like that my whole life. Maybe at least this year. Because I have done big projects for other people, gotten paid, it
Yeah.
goes on the TV. That is a sense of satisfaction, sure. Money, whatever. But building that website for myself, which I don't even know what it's gonna do. It's not like suddenly it's gonna get me more projects. No one's gonna go to my website. I just needed it. It needed to be done. And that's the first time I think I genuinely worked for myself.
Yeah.
I slept. I want to sleep like this every day. So I didn't know what worked that day, but maybe this is the understanding of
Yeah. Sometimes the activity is so engaging
yeah,
that it pulls your full attention,
yeah,
right? And this is addictive. This combination, three thing combination. This is what games leverage on.
yeah.
You can't not have full attention when you're playing a video game,
Right.
right? So
Very
full attention is there. Second, there's a clear goal, right?
mhm,
And then the third one, which is it is challenging.
yeah.
So it's addictive.
I think very true, man. I think last year I called you and I called Vasu and I said, this is the first time I forgot who I am, forgot to drink water. I mixed all day.
Mm.
And this feeling was there last year sometime when I first began mixing and doing audio production. It's
Pick a
almost like
flow, man.
when you watch a great movie, when you play a great game, you think you forget about who you are. That thing. It's
Yeah.
that's the whole universe, you know.
Yes.
But now instead of playing a game, we're building something.
Yeah. That's true. So if you're building something that doesn't challenge you
Yeah.
and you don't give it full attention and you don't have a clear goal, you'll feel frustrated, you'll not feel good. And same applies to your 10-minute practice session. Same applies to your composition, composing skills, anything you're doing.
So I think we spoke about it years back when you said you just come from Sam, and one of your teachers said it's only here in Sam or in India or something like that. It was just it's not a generalization, but it's only he said something your teacher said, and you quoted it to me, so I'm misquoting it probably now. That it's only now that I'm seeing people who are thinking about other things while they're playing. They're not fully focused and they're not just playing. And I was like, hey, I think I play like that only, right? I'm thinking about things in between, and then the changes come or the fill comes and I missed it all.
Yeah.
And I'm not even just playing like that, I'm practicing like that also, you
Yeah,
know?
because see, you can afford to practice like that because your practice session might not have a clear goal, it might not have a challenge.
Has a rough,
If you're practicing the same scale up and down, the challenge is gone in 2 days.
correct?
Of course, you'll think about other things.
Yeah.
Of course, you'll start thinking about what's going. But if you challenge yourself,
Hmm.
right? If you're pushing the boundary again, that okay, I did this at 30 BPM yesterday, playing 16th notes. I'm gonna push it to 32nd.
Yeah.
That becomes a challenge. How long is it gonna be? Let me spend 3 hours, 2 hours doing it. Whatever. Clear goal,
Yeah.
challenge.
Key. I mean, you can play it in this key, change the key. I mean,
Yeah.
whatever.
Put your phone away.
Yeah, put this phone away.
That's the most important aspect.
But I now have we've covered another thing, that if you can't focus on something, you're not able to, let's say, do this. It could be those unresolved emotional issues or too many questions about yourself, life, existence, and they're always coming in the way. They're probably more important until they're solved. If you don't understand, if you're unsatisfied with life and you're
Hmm.
happy and you are always thinking, what is this life about? Is this just misery and suffering?
Huh.
Asking yourself that question 24/7, then I don't think you will have a productive practice session.
I
Maybe.
think you need to, again, there's another concept which is of resistance,
Hmm,
which you need to be aware of as well.
hmm. Yeah, true.
Once you introduce flow in your life,
Right.
you redefine yourself,
True.
right? Because you challenge yourself, you conquer something new, you
Hmm.
become an even more solid human being.
Yeah.
Once you redefine yourself, you have more self worth. When you have more self worth, your self doubt goes down. You have created self worth to challenge your self doubt.
Hmm.
That's why these things are important together. You can't sit and resolve an emotional issue just by,
Journaling or
yes, you can, but you can't at the same time. Now, imagine the
all
support of,
will unlock, I guess.
it's all interconnected.
Yeah.
Life wants you to become better. Universe wants you to become better. Pain is a power.
Hmm.
It's a superpower. It makes you think.
Telling you to.
Emotional or physical doesn't matter.
Mhm.
But you are constantly trying to evolve. You can't help but evolve.
Yeah.
If you do not evolve, you will be so bored. And more than bored, people who are not evolving or have decided to give up on the concept of that, you have to become a better person every day,
Hmm.
or you have to challenge yourself, or you have to have goals in life.
Yeah.
People like that become blameful, become sad, become strange.
Yeah.
They are not the people you want to voluntarily call and hang with.
Yeah.
People you want to hang with are the people with dreams.
Hmm.
They are people who are challenging themselves. They are people who are constantly doing things which put you in this awe situation that,
Yeah.
how does he do that?
How does he do that?
It makes you think, makes you get very inspired. So
Learn.
coming back to that classical music thing,
Right. Yes. Production and
that part. So there, I finished my college and I realized that I'm I'm in an environment which is pulling me down as a person, as a personality.
music.
So I decided to kind of leave that all behind and try to see that what else can I do in life.
Mm-hmm.
And somehow production got my attention.
Right.
Production. I don't know why, uh, but I just decided to go for it, man. And I found Saurabh Kumar
Yeah.
to teach me.
Right.
Fantastic teacher. And I got some lessons from him on a DVD or something that time that showed how to run Nuendo.
Yeah.
Because he didn't teach the software so much, he taught the concepts.
Concepts. Yeah.
And it was amazing, like the whole experience of it. And then I picked up bass also, and I decided to do both.
Hmm.
Now I'm going to do bass playing and I'm going to produce music.
Yeah.
Then eventually I had to take a call that I can't do both. So I'll remove production and I'll just focus on bass playing.
Was it? Did you make that choice out of joy that made you more happy? I remember you saying those tiny buttons on the screens are not like exciting you.
See, when I look back at it, I would say I experienced I burnt myself out completely, overworking myself.
Production.
Yeah.
Okay.
I overworked. I didn't balance it. So I was just completely burnt out. I
Yeah.
was overwhelmed by the amount of work I was doing,
Yeah.
by the amount of hours I was spending in it.
Right.
So, and plus I was playing bass. So somehow the natural thing that time felt like, just drop this.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Just drop this and just do something else, completely something else. And then bass playing, then the traveling happened, then all the things related to that happened.
I think you did one of your early international tours when I was still studying from you, and it was during your still you had not moved towards jazz as much yet. You were still doing fusion gigs, which were more, you had not moved to that phase of learning those 100 jazz standards, I think.
Dude, I still can't play jazz, huh, by the way. All I can do is I can walk properly on the bass on jazz tunes.
There was this phase of yours where you had that chart on your wall and there were some jazz standards. Maybe it was 50, it was 30 or 100, and you were getting through that list week after week. I used to see that list getting checked. And this was before. Did you do your Southeast Asia tour before that?
I think it was during that time only.
During that?
Southeast Asia tour happened. But the thing is that those lists, no, that time, I realized during therapy and after therapy, uh, got over that I was an overcommitter.
Right.
And I used to make a lot of sacrifices in life because of that. So I would overcommit to myself also.
Yeah. Okay.
I know it's not humanly possible to complete that list,
Hmm.
but I would put myself into overcommitting situations, which is again something, if you're listening, to be very aware of, is that overcommitment is a part of resistance. It's going to stop you from doing what you have to do.
Wow. Okay.
So you have to really balance your commitments with yourself, because you're defining yourself. Now, I put that 100 standard list out on the wall. Did I ever finish it? No. What did I feel like? I can't do all this,
Mm.
right? But if I put two standards out there
The,
on the wall and I tick them,
mm.
I define myself like that. So balance commitment to me and then balance commitment to others,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? I
So
couldn't finish all that.
you're saying that like making a list bigger than you can achieve, like having 10x a goal just so that you get the 1x done, is not the best approach for your
It's not the best approach.
right
I
to
To my experience, if you write something down, do it.
get it done.
If
Yeah.
you're figuring out what you need to get done, write 10 things down,
Hmm.
do one. But you should have one thing written then. You shouldn't have 30 things written.
So maybe look at one at a time and be like, let's get this done,
Yeah.
and then
You have to understand you have a lot of time.
sorry.
You have a lot of time in life.
Okay.
If you stay away from distractions
Mm.
and you honestly invest, let's say, 6 hours working a day, honestly, this is work, which is work. This is, if it's practice, it's practice. It has nothing to do with any external interactions.
Yeah.
Then you have a lot of time. There's a concept of day stacking.
Day stack.
Day
Okay.
stacking. If you stack days together,
Mm-hmm.
they become many hours of work.
Yeah.
Many hours. If you learn a new thing 60 minutes a day and you do that for 10 days, that's 600 minutes. That's a lot of time into one thing, right? But then again, this thing will have to be your clear goal. Are you trying to learn a new software? Are you trying to learn how to talk? Are you trying to learn how to speak in Spanish?
And there's a how do you decode a basic understanding to this needs to be done for that needs to be done? Because like for example, let's say you have to play a Jacob Collier song or anything, you play anything complex, you have to understand basic rhythm, good harmony, ear. You, if you don't sort these out, like we're talking about Amazing Grace, if you don't sort out some basics, that is not achievable, right? uh
I have learned otherwise,
okay.
because if you play music, you understand sound,
Okay.
right?
Yeah, this is
So
great.
either it's a lot of sounds together or it's less number of sounds together.
Mm-hmm.
It comes down to, can you physically uh, express that sound? Comes down to that. So if you're not able to do something specific in Amazing Grace or a Jacob Collier song, you need to spend time with that specific thing. And if you do it a specific number of times, you will get it. You don't have to improve XYZ to be able to play that. It doesn't work like that.
Okay.
I wasted years doing that.
Okay.
If you want to solo on melodic minor, using melodic minor,
Mm-hmm.
you have to solo using melodic minor.
Right.
You don't have to practice melodic minor separately for hours and hours. You need to go into that song.
Makes sense.
And Pranay Gurung is the greatest example of this.
Okay.
I want to play the blues. I will form a blues band and play blues tunes.
Right. Yeah.
And that's where you do it. As simple as that.
So if someone's having trouble with rhythm and they're not able to play, let's say I Want You Back or something, get that swing and the upbeats right, so you're saying it's not necessary to go into 1 year of rhythm training or 6 months or a month of a rhythm training. Do some rhythm training, get back to the song and work on the song and get that rhythm for that song. Is that
I'm exactly saying that you don't have to. It does not mean you need to stop not exploring. It does not mean that. But any song specific problem is a song specific problem,
right? Okay,
right? It is not a problem that you need to uh, deconstruct somewhere else and learn it from somewhere else.
makes sense. Yeah,
Yes, there are tools. Like for example, if you practice the ghost note exercises on your bass, you will play funk better.
yeah,
But does that mean you should not start playing funk unless you have nailed all the exercises at 200 bpm? No, it doesn't mean that.
right.
It's you can pick up any level of difficulty of any song. It
Mhm.
might take you longer. That's the only difference. If you had balanced both of them, you might finish something in 10 days. If you're just doing the song, you might finish in 20 days. That's the only difference.
Yeah,
You will still achieve the same results.
profound, man. Yeah, this is a lot. This is great to work on. Okay, now just talking about like 2020 onwards, musicians, we have a whole new world to look at. And I mean, now that coronavirus happened or 2020 happened, whatever happened, it happened. But even otherwise, there were a few resources that musicians could always develop and still there, like YouTube, internet, everything has been there for a couple of years now, at least, like big time. In front of your face, YouTube has been there. YouTubers have been making a living out of it, even just through Amazon referrals. And there are all these ways of even putting up some PDF documents. There's all these small things that you've uncovered. What are a few resources that musicians can build? Let's say they start today, tomorrow, this month, take a few months, take a few years, build some things which we have been discussing on the phone as well. What would you like the audience to kind of know? The ones who are watching now, the ones who will watch it this later. What is it as a musician you could build? Because earlier we used to look at pretty much two things: teaching, which we have spoken, you've spoken about it in some other places. The teaching would be one, and then the other would be gigging. So you would practice, go teach, play the shows, have your rehearsals, right?
Yeah,
Those are the two things. So you developed yourself as a performing bass player, some marketing for that, letting people know that you're a session bass player, and the other was teaching bass. Now there are other things that we are looking at developing, and those are key. And they also lead to some passive stuff, like you make a course, you put it up there, it stays for you. So
right.
let's explore some of these things, and this might just be the core of the call, this conversation.
I think people should look outside music also,
Yeah.
and they need to see how other things are also running,
Okay.
right? There might be a venture which can use your expertise.
Mm.
Like
Yeah.
the other day,
Yeah.
um, I was listening to Gary Vee, and Gary Vee was mentioning how he's present on LinkedIn as well. And people ask him that I sell sneakers. How do I sell sneakers to somebody on LinkedIn? I just make it for the young people. He said, market it in a different manner. Go there, tell them, want a fresh look for your office. Are you 40 years old? You need a fresh look? Buy your sneakers. Then he said, you need to understand there are markets present and there are different kind of people who hang in different places. If you specialize in rhythmic work, and if you feel a group of people can do well with it, and
Mm.
it so happens that you want to make a product which is for $100 a person or $200 a person, then YouTube is not your place. LinkedIn is your place. So think and innovate as to whatever you know. It can be in music, it can be outside music. Like I was talking to Vasu about a specific product. Wouldn't share it here, but it was so designed for LinkedIn.
Okay.
It's not something that has to live on YouTube.
Right.
It is very specific to CEOs of the companies. And where do they hang? They don't hang on Facebook. They hang on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
So if there is something that you think, like I was telling my student, one of my students, he said, I'm starting guitar lessons, sir, because nothing is happening.
Yeah.
I told him to launch something in Marathi. Do it in Marathi. put it in places which has nothing to do with music. Like as I was saying on talking to Prince that day.
That's the blue ocean strategy, you know.
Yeah. So now if he does whatever guitar lesson Marathi Made, I don't know how
Yeah.
you have to say that, but imagine the kind of uh, people that he can attract towards him. People who can be mothers who don't speak, grandmothers who have wanted to play, or whatever it is,
Mhm.
right? So you open a door like that. Starting passive income through YouTube is a long game. They have designed the platform like that if you're not in here for the long term, you won't make revenue here.
Right.
It's as simple as that.
Watch out.
It's not a quick buck making place.
Yeah.
So you are in YouTube, you're in there for the long game. They won't give you permissions also to monitor.
Films, right? Like basically you're committing to becoming some kind of a filmmaker in a way. You're
Yeah, you can say that. You
yeah.
can say that.
It's
Even
pretty much a full-time thing for those
yeah,
people who make full-time money out of it, you know.
yeah. Even like if you think of Adam Neely,
Hmm.
it's 10 years later.
Right, definitely.
10 years it's been
1 million.
of content creation. So if you're thinking passive income out of putting something on YouTube, that's hard. And
Hard.
I'll be honest. But is it hard over a period of 2 years, 3 years? No.
Mm-hmm.
But then you commit to that. And what do you do while you're doing that? Maybe you go to Udemy,
Yeah.
you buy a stock trading course, and you understand how money runs around.
Right.
If you have $1,000, you learn to make 1,200 out of that thousand, and
Correct.
then you just multiply it with another 10, 20. Those are the things I'm in favor of. It's too bold a statement to tell somebody to just jump into a stock market. But all I'm saying is there are skills you can develop for 300, 400 rupees. For example, there is Fiverr where you can sit and work very like for me, I need a very specialized human being who understands music to do my graphics.
Right.
I can't put my job on a freelance thing that, hey, just just map out the fretboard on Illustrator and we will just light up the F sharps and G. I can't have this conversation with anybody.
Oh, you can't. Yeah, definitely.
I need a musician who understand notes where to be placed.
Like I would need a content writer for web who understands music and production so we can write good language from a website, you know?
Yes. So if
Not
you're a musician and you learn the skill of copywriting by going to Udemy and buying a course for 700 rupees, you have another career for you, which can feed your life right now while you're doing what you want to do.
yeah.
So open Udemy. There are categories there. You can choose whatever you want to learn.
Mm.
And how does learning work? It works in the same, for me, what I do, like people binge watch Netflix, I binge watch a course.
Nice.
2 days later, I'm good. I finished 10 hours of study. Now it's time to apply. 1 week later, I know another software and I'm good to go. I'm ready to animate. Does it take effort, time? Is it a challenge? Yes. Is it a clear goal? Yes. Do I give it full attention? Yes. And
Awesome.
what happens? I feel happy. I'm done. Now let's be happy again. Let's learn how to code. Let's learn how to make apps. So on and so forth.
Hold up 1 second. So when you're watching 10 hours, you don't need to stop after every half an hour, practice it, check out how it's done.
Yeah. So see, the thing is that the duration of the course is 10 hours. It will take me 20 hours to
Right.
do it.
Exactly.
Right. And in a day, I can't do more than 8 hours of solid work. That's my limit.
Right.
This is excluding breaks and all. This is 8 hours of work time.
Of you sitting down, buckling down, doing things. Yeah.
Yeah, doing so. If I'm doing a course, if I'm studying for 2 hours, I'll need to see, acha, what's going on. This is going on. That is going on. Blah blah blah. Okay, do some research. So a 10-hour course will take you 20 hours to finish. But man, if you can watch Netflix back to back, you can do this shit.
Definitely.
Anybody can do it.
Weekend pay,
Sorry,
weekend pay.
if you can pay, anybody can do it.
Exactly.
Anybody can empower themselves with all this.
Beautiful.
And you can learn to build websites. You practice building one website and you shoot an email to 1,000 people or messages to all musicians out there.
Your website.
Hey, I'll build your website. Online presence is important. Do you want your website built? I'll do the copywriting work. I'll do the designing for you. And I'll charge you whatever amount you want to charge.
Yeah.
Do it for free for 10 people to practice. Then start charging the next 90. You have a business there.
I loved making websites so much. I made two. I didn't make one.
That's amazing, man.
Superwebstudios.com domain was not connecting. It takes a week to transfer. I made varunkapahi.com. It's live right now.
Amazing.
So I was like, this is fun. I look at things get done, and stand-up comedy is playing in the back the whole time.
Mm.
Or I'm laughing, I'm making the website, I'm having a great time. Then I'm like, okay, bots only. Yeah. Then I'm playing the world's best mixes to
Mm.
train my ears for good mixes.
Yeah.
Making the website, but my ears are listening good arrangements. I'm like, this is growth. And that's exactly what you were saying. I thought about it. How about I offer it to three other friends and I want to stay busy in COVID? I'll not charge them. I'll just tell them that this is the minimum that it will cost them to start the website and to help get a friend, help the content a little bit. Let's do it. Let's build your websites. So I was going to come to you or whoever and be like, listen, this is how I build mine. If you want something, let's do it. This
Yeah.
is it actually. Yeah. So do something. It's like one of the Tim Ferriss videos talks about this, specializing in combining two things that are usually not connected.
Hmm.
And we always need that. We always need, let's say, a person who will help you with your savings but understands how musicians operate.
Right.
Or for example, I needed a logo done, so I needed to get my logo done with someone who would understand what I'm talking about: bass clef, treble clef. It should not
Right.
be alien for them. So what you just said is core. It's a very good thing. But you also mentioned a few things that I'm going to reiterate for the audience. One is Fiverr. You can get on Fiverr to even sell your skill,
Yes.
not just develop. Most people are still not on Fiverr. Get on Fiverr.
Fiverr, I don't think you can develop your skill. I
Yeah.
think it's just a service offering platform.
100%. Yeah. I mean, you can go there to buy services and you can go there to sell your service. So Fiverr is also something you'll have to understand. Just putting your gig out there is not going to work. You have to understand how the dynamic of that platform work. Get into it, spend some time with Fiverr. You can get some work out of it if you want, or you can get work done there. So Fiverr is one, Udemy is the other, YouTube is one platform. Being able to connect things outside of music to music, selling that as a service on any of these platforms is a thing. On Udemy, one thing I've learned from Saurabh is you can watch a course about making courses and then
Oh
make
yeah, there's a course that I watched it.
it's a
That's
chicken
how I made
egg
my course.
connected.
That's how I made my course.
Get that. How many times do you get the chicken and the egg connected? Watch a course about making course, then make a course, put it up there.
Yeah. Yeah. That's exactly what I did.
That's amazing. I mean, that's also like it's like how Lemuel was talking about monetization. It's like you're getting something which says, okay, I will teach you bass for 3 years here, and after 3 years, you teach here in my place,
Yeah.
and people will take it up. They'll be like, cool,
That's true.
because
See,
there's
the thing is, as long as you have a smartphone,
yeah,
you're good.
good,
You can make money. Just hang in the right places. Just find the right, like listen to Gary Vee. If you're thinking how to make money, you want to listen to Gary Vee.
yeah,
GARYVEE.
PW, yeah,
He'll tell you 10,000 ways in 1 second. So that's how, if you want to understand, to develop money just by having your phone, there are ways to do it.
yeah,
And none of the ways are unethical. They're all ethical ways. You will not be a pain in anybody's face, or whatever the other word is. My parents are listening, so I'm being as polite as I can. So you can really make a lot of revenue. So
I
places.
also, would you say, sorry, to cut you off 1 second, would you
Yeah.
say, if you, I would add to this, but I'm asking you, is it your opinion? But commit to it like full time. You cannot play bass for 12 hours, try and put 1 hour into making money, and then say, I don't have money.
uh
You get good at bass. I mean, if you practice correctly. This is what I'm trying to say.
Man, I what I've learned about practice is that how it works best for me is you need to understand the way sleep offers more pace to the memory,
Mm-hmm,
right? So if you keep doing it and you don't give it rest, you're not giving it rest to develop those muscles you have engaged,
mm-hmm,
right? It's just like physical work.
yeah,
Now, if you're practicing a loop, so you practice something and you sleep, it plays 1,000 times faster when you're asleep to memorize it.
Yeah.
So I've made my practice sessions so sparse but stacked, like 1 hour every day.
Mhm.
I get shit done. It's not that I don't get shit done. I'm consistent with it. So I get, first, I don't burn out. I'm
Yeah.
always looking forward to it. The enthusiasm is alive. That song this morning, it even starts playing sometimes in the morning. So you have a lot of time as long as you're off distractions, because we don't see it as an addiction, but it is an addiction to be distracted.
Your dad says you can say whatever you want. I believe that's your dad. I think that's your dad saying this. Yeah. Uh, there you go.
Your parents are the sweetest.
They're the sweetest. The other problem is not that we're gonna ever really get monetization out of it, but do you lose monetization if you swear on like YouTube? You get strikes and things like that happen.
No, the F word is allowed,
Okay.
but you have to tell YouTube that it's in there.
And then,
And even if it is there, like, because when I'm talking to somebody on the podcast, they are using it a lot.
yeah.
I'm not using it,
Uh-huh.
but they are using it. I have little control over it. I can't tell somebody to not do this and that. Of course, there's certain things which are not allowed. But what I'm trying to say is that if you do not put it on the title or in the description, you're fine.
Yeah.
And YouTube knows that it's the way people talk, so they don't mean anything. But I feel whatever has happened is, whenever we have talked about anything in the podcast and we have used the word COVID,
Hmm.
then the processing of the video takes longer.
Right. Oh.
They are always checking, did you spread any misinformation about it?
Yeah.
Like, if we say that during the time of COVID musicians can do XYZ,
Mhm.
so I think the algorithm is hearing that they said COVID, we need to see what's going on, we need to give this to humans, otherwise you're fine. Like,
Yeah.
now I've said COVID,
Yeah.
this is going to take time to process
I said
before it
good.
goes.
It's okay. So you don't have to worry about it. Okay. So what I was trying to get at was that if you want to make courses, if you want to make money, you have to really commit to it. You cannot find, basically, I'm saying there is no quick fire sort of a thing. "Okay, I'll just do this for 20 minutes and that'll make me $1 million at the end of 2 years. You really have to buckle down, is what I believe, especially in the beginning. It's just my belief. I want Saurabh to give his views. And also I want Saurabh to like try and explain how many hours a day were you putting into School of Bass or something like that, building something solid, or even your YouTube video or your podcast? How much preparation goes behind each one of these things?
So it's been different, it's been evolving. It's
Hmm.
been evolving, but what I've learned over time is, if you want to do, if your game is longevity, if you're going to do it for long, always make your work time sustainable, something you can repeat tomorrow.
Mm.
The problem is we burn out because we think we have to do this in 1 week, 16 hours a day. No, I can't do it like that. So when I started the School of Bass, I was also gigging that time, and it evolved to a place where it was Monday I decide the script, Tuesday I practice speaking it, because I couldn't speak clearly earlier
Right.
before I started the School of Bass. So there were times I would just put the phone in front of me and just talk, that like it used to sound like I'm mumbling. Then I realized that no, I need to speak clearly. This Nobody is going to understand what is going on.
Spoke about this.
So Monday you write the script, Tuesday you practice talking, Wednesday you record it,
Mm.
Thursday you edit it, Friday you post it.
One
Right?
video.
Sorry?
1 week every video. That was what you were doing.
Something like that. Something like that. But it's been so many changes and iterations to the process.
Mhm.
But what I'm trying to get at is that I had to realize, how much time do I have in a day to do this?
Mm.
Right? I'm gigging, I'm learning other sets. I can give this 2 hours a day.
Yeah.
So I give it 2 hours a day. Right? So if you think you're going to develop something by working 20 hours a day,
Hmm.
yes, you will develop it, but it'll be hard to go back to it.
Right. Yeah. Is it
So
repeatable? I guess.
sorry,
Is it repeatable, to ask yourself? Is it
it's sustainable,
sustainable? Yeah.
right? If you commit to, let's say, building yourself, you want to build your body properly, and you decide from tomorrow onwards, I'm going to go to the gym 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours in the evening. Yes, you'll be able to do it for a month. maybe a week after that, and maybe a day after that, then you're burnt out. So any decisions I made in life about anything that I'm going to do for long, I always asked, is it sustainable?
Yeah.
Can I do it again and again and again for the days to come?
Right.
So if you ask how many hours I put in, I would answer in brief, a sustainable number of hours,
Yeah.
right? So right now also my day begins at uh, 7 a.m. and 6 p.m. it ends, right? Now 6 p.m. it ends. Even if I sometimes say that, okay, I'll do a little more work 8 o'clock, I know I can't, and it's
You won't.
not
Yeah.
healthy also.
Not much happens then after that. Like,
You need to switch off,
yeah.
and
Perfect.
it's so that you can go harder tomorrow.
Right. Okay. But
So
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. No, I was just trying to iterate that School of Base did take about 2 years to build. As the fruit in the end, the channel, whatnot. Uh, we froze up for a second. Yeah. Okay. So, guys, we have frozen up. We have lost Saurabh for a second.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
back.
Okay. That's the perfect technology thing. Yeah.
Huh, you were saying something?
Yeah, I
Two
was saying
years.
School of Base did take. Uh, the channel took a while to build. You put in time. You did the vlogs, the traveling ones. You did everything. Then you decided to build the course, and the course took its hours. And what I'm trying to get at is that anything anything worth doing takes its effort, like
Yes.
um there is a formula to this, something like, I am not sure, I've heard it. It says, is it sustainable, is it success, is it scalable, and there is
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. There's
this
something like
thing
that.
which is a definite thing to ask yourself when you're getting into something, because I'm talking about someone like Lemuel or whoever wants to start making content. What is the thought process that they have to go through to know that, okay, I'm in, this is what it's going to take? Basically, it's more like how someone showed you. Are you there? Yeah. You're not
Yeah,
frozen.
yeah.
So, like, how someone tells, maybe if someone could tell us a little bit about what life as a musician would be like in Bombay or wherever, so you get to know now, what would life be as like a musician making content, that you have to play gigs and you have this and you have that. So I was just trying to say that it's really good to figure some of this out and really commit to it, like really, you know
Yeah, so see, what I did initially was that it doesn't matter if I'm traveling, it
Okay.
doesn't matter what I'm doing. My work needs to go with me. I have a schedule to be on.
Wow.
For example, if I have to, I told you a routine that, let's say, Monday I'm writing a script, Tuesday I'm recording, Wednesday I'm editing. But Wednesday I'm flying to Calcutta to do a gig. What do
Right.
I do? I carry my work with me. When it's 7 a.m., I'm in the flight. It's time for me to work. It doesn't matter where I am physically.
Right. Okay.
I'm working. I am editing my video, right? Because I have to put it out on whatever. Let's say Friday, I have to put it out.
Wow.
I'm at the sound check. I'm with my laptop. I plugged it in. I'm sitting. I'm working.
Wow.
I'm finishing my edit. So you write your schedule down. I used to write my schedule down. Video number one, two, three. Date, date, date. Do I know the gigs from before? Then don't do that. If I didn't know, gig comes in. What is my schedule? My schedule stayed the same if it allowed it to happen so while I'm traveling. Nothing has changed. If I'm supposed to uh, be, let's say, studying from 8 to 10 o'clock and I'm in a flight, I'll study 8 to 10 o'clock. Doesn't matter if I'm home, I'm not home.
You still have to adapt. You don't know what time your flight is. You cannot edit a video in a car when between the plane and between the airport and the hotel check-in. So you do have to move things.
So what I'll do sometimes is I know that I have to do this. I'll talk to the manager. Sankita, what's the routine? She'll give me a rough timeline.
Mm.
I'll write it on my phone immediately for the day. Okay, flight is at 8. Flight is 3 hours long. This is the takeoff landing. I'll have 1.5 in the middle, one and a half hours in the middle. I can do this, this, this. So it's scheduled,
Okay.
right? So the day, according to the schedule of the day, is scheduled. It does not put a pause to the work. I'm on stage. If Ankita tells that there's a sound check from 3 to 5, I know my turn will be 15 minutes long. I have to be aware of what's going on, of course, on the stage. The moment I'm needed, I'm there. So put one in ear on, keep at work, keep
Mm.
going, because there's nothing new to attend to at the moment,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And then work day is over, it's over, right? I'm doing my gig. So it used to be intertwined a lot.
Sweet.
The point is, when you write a schedule down, first of all, think about it. Think about before you write it. Is it written in stone? I would say yes, do whatever it takes.
Hmm.
But write a sustainable one. Don't write an overcommitment. Don't. I used to think I can do one video a day,
Cassie,
right?
because Casey did it, right? Nice dad did it, and
Yeah, but then he stopped. He
right.
got burnt out.
Yeah.
Now, my point being that you will understand this only when you start doing it.
Right.
How much can you do? How does it work? And when you step into something, those things will surround you. When you start looking for something on YouTube, those things surround you. That's great about YouTube.
Hmm.
Start showing you how you can do this, do that, how to make money using courses and blah blah blah. And
Suggestion.
you'll see these amazing websites you've never seen before.
Right.
And digital marketing people will start showing up on your feed. It's all amazing.
Yeah.
The universe, the internet is there to help you, but not social media so much. That can be a little challenging. I'm not saying it's a bad thing or whatever, but when you're present on a platform such as YouTube, or even if you buy, let's say, emotional intelligence tomorrow
Mm.
on Amazon,
Yeah.
when you scroll down, it'll show you another book
Relating. Yeah.
which is related, and you start a chain from one decision that you make,
Definitely.
and then it's just going to go on from there.
Yeah.
It's endless.
Wow. Okay. This is amazing. Um, I'm. This has been great. घड़ा भर गया है. मैं सोच रहा हूँ when
Sorry, yeah.
you want dinner, and because we can go on actually, and this like I'm almost like I have so much to process now. Although I am the person asking you questions, and I had a list of things to go through and stuff. Abhi, I'm like, wow, this is amazing. In fact, while you were asked explaining this, I had one more question come up in my brain about like how to uh, manage this stuff, like practicing and keeping your schedule as a live musician. Also, it's very tricky, right? If you're right now, God in a way has given this blessing, and God or the universe has given this blessing of time at home, and actually musicians can develop a lot of resources. But when you start gigging, you really have to be hardcore to keep at this, right? um
Yeah, but it's a practice.
Practice, yeah.
It's not that one day I decided I'm going to sit in the hotel room and edit.
Yeah.
It was a practice.
And yeah, I think you inspired me those days because I was sitting in my plane and I was practicing. I cannot mix in the plane, the headphones, just too much noise, whatever.
Hmm.
But I'm doing what I can. I'm
Yeah.
practicing maybe some other part of it, synthesizers or something.
JJ does that. I learned it from JJ.
Yeah.
JJ is at work on a work day, and JJ is the owner of Island City, and he when he's sitting in the plane, learning Pro Tools,
Yeah.
just watching a video on his iPad, just learning it.
Yeah. Man, I remember this sitting in the plane, watching tutorial, just following what I can because cannot do what can do in a quiet room, but I can do something in the plane. And then I remember being in Sakak doing homework in between sound checks, making the production moves or connecting my laptop to the TV in the hotel room, and then
Hmm.
finishing a project off because now movie goes there. This is here. I composed the thing. It's done. So yeah, I think those days I was in touch with you and you told me you were doing that for School of Bass. I was like, okay, I don't know what that, but I can do my homework like this, because I was in a band and I had production school work and I had clients. I had started producing music already, so they needed changes. They
Hmm.
needed their track to be more ambient or you know more low end or whatever.
Hmm.
So that's how it was done. This is beautiful, man. This is perfect. So what's the plan for the rest of your day? Let's try and find okay, Sachin Goyal has asked one question. How often did he procrastinated when he started practicing these productive. Did you procrastinate?
A
Did you
lot,
face? Yeah,
a lot, a lot. It's normal and natural to procrastinate because again it's resistance.
resistance, right?
And
Stephen
now
Pressfield, right? That's where the idea comes from. From
Stephen Pressfield, The War of Art.
yeah,
The
such an
other
interesting
books,
read.
yeah, the other books you want to read is Do the Work and
Do the work.
Turning Pro.
Sorry, which is the last one?
Turning Pro.
Turning Pro.
Yeah.
All three Stephen Pressfield books.
Stephen Pressfield, he's the boss.
That those three books are amazing.
He's really the boss.
This was heavy and it was awesome. A lot of these books are mentioned in Anthony Wellington's reading list. He has a reading list on his website,
Hmm.
and the list there it has
I'm
awesome.
trying to figure out a way to uh, have these resources in Hindi,
Wow.
but because the music lesson needs to happen in Hindi somehow, even if it is a summary of half an hour with animations or whatever.
Yeah, yeah, like those YouTube videos that explain.
Yeah, so I have to ask someone, I have a talk with them as to if this can be translated or what are the legal liabilities I have in order to make this happen. So I have to go through all that.
Um, we can talk about this. I may work for a audiobook production house soon, and maybe we can do things legally and sync them.
कर सकते हैं sir.
Who knows? This could be interesting. They could do it officially then, and why not?
Yeah, I'll see how, because the thing is, I'll have to figure out a way that it's being done by a musician
Correct. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
because the meaning shouldn't change. That's my worry. That yes, you can get a translation, you can get a very thick Hindi translation, but
It has to be. Yeah.
it has to have some value and some element because it was written by Victor Wooten, man.
Yeah, man. This T-shirt was given by Victor. I wear it every time we do the podcast. I'm just like, I need superpowers to talk to people who are like, who have so much more to give than what I can understand. How will I cope up with it? I just wear the Victor Wooten T-shirt.
He's the boss of everything.
Yeah, man, definitely. This is a great idea. Also, the second Victor Wooten book, the sequel to the music lesson, is called The Spirit of Music. It will be out soon.
Did you buy it? Do you have a?
It is going to be out soon. He just said he just showed it on one of his videos and
I saw the post. I saw it.
right. He told me about the sequel when I was there in 2015. He's like, it's almost done, and then
Wow.
5 years. I think he's just finding the right way to put it out. I think, and
No, sometimes you do the book again and again because Vasu is also about to come out with a
right,
book,
Vasu is coming out with a book.
and she's writing it again and again and again. Not writing, but whenever she goes back to a chapter, there are things that need realignment, rewriting.
Absolutely, yeah.
So happens a lot with books. I think I haven't written one, but
I think it's about time that you look into it. And but getting turning pro and all these books turned into Hindi would be a great move. Stephen Pressfields and figuring out the
I
legal,
think those big ones are they should be already available.
but a YouTube version. Like you have you seen those book summaries on YouTube? Like
I
that,
have.
I don't know what's the legal stuff behind it because it's someone else's original
Yeah,
content
I
adapting.
I don't think you have any legal liabilities with that
Yeah,
because it's your opinion about the book
correct, correct.
and you're free to have opinions.
Yeah,
So we're free that way. So that can be done. But
and yeah,
I just feel that when you experience a book over a few days,
hmm,
it goes somewhere else, in your system.
right.
And a
And
summary can sit there and the book can be available under that.
something like the music lesson will be a hard one to also go over in 10 minutes or whatever. It's not telling
Yeah,
you things to do, you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So, and the audiobook for it in English already exists. uh so like a detailed one with characters and voices. So it's interesting. It's a very
Yeah, yeah, I heard about it.
yeah, it could even get Victor's blessing to do it or something like that, who knows.
Yeah, I mean, you're my only connection to him.
Oh,
I
really?
haven't ever gotten in touch with him. But whenever I do anything related to him,
It's great.
I'll make sure that we figure this out properly.
Mhm.
But I still have to step into that territory because I'm already in the
Yeah,
middle of finishing a few things.
right. Okay. Is there anything else you wanna tell people to look forward to? Anything you're coming up with? And then we can
I
close.
am coming up with something, but I can't share that on the podcast.
What I can share is that there will be more courses on School of Pace. So
Courses, yes, courses are coming.
you tell everyone who has stuck around to the end of this 3 hour or who watches it in the future that there's just one course there right now, which is the beginner.
Yeah.
But there will be more courses. There might be courses for intermediate, advanced players. There might be specific things.
Yeah, there'll be specific courses like how to play with ragas and Indian rhythms, how ragas work for the bass and all that. All that is going to be there soon.
Be some technique, maybe who knows, some slap based lessons from
Everything will be there.
amazing. And that
Everything.
Sargam concept, I would like to attend those lessons and learn that concept as well as a musician.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'll put it all out there for everybody to consume.
So
And
the main thing is keep watching out School of Bass. There will be more and other courses. And who knows, there might be courses beyond just bass as well eventually, because you as a musician might need something which is just beyond bass as well, like Konakol or something, so helps your bass playing.
yes, it does.
Beautiful.
Totally does.
That's the thing to look forward to. I always like to close with something to look forward to in the future, so we keep you also accountable that hey, we want those courses.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's going to happen because right now I'm building processes and systems so
Okay.
that it can be repeated
Okay.
with hiring people.
Hmm.
Of course, I'll be the content creator and everything, but there are things that I need to outsource, like editing and graphic design and all
Also,
those things.
there's one more thing. If you're watching it, you can ping Saurabh if you can do something very well.
Yes,
The
please
school.
ping me on Instagram, saurabh.base or the School of Bass, whatever works for you.
Okay, so yes, and obviously yes, definitely follow Saurabh on YouTube, School of Bass, and Saurabh Suman. There's two channels, Instagram, Saurabh.bass, right? That's the best places, three places.
Yeah, and you can also follow the School of Bass on Instagram. Both
School
are
of
available.
Bass is on Instagram now.
It is, but it's going to come alive like in a week.
All right, school. Let's get it alive now. Then go follow School of.
There are some followers on that.
No, I'm gonna reshare it to my Instagram right now. Then I did not.
I think just wait a bit because I want to put the bio and make it look nice and all.
Okay, so School of Bass on Instagram, that was needed. It was super important.
Yeah.
I was gonna actually ask you to be on TikTok, but now TikTok is gone. So that's what Gary Vee says. Gary Vee says, "Get on TikTok. You don't know what might happen." So
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah. That's true.
that's about it. So that's what. And also, Vasu is coming up with a book. Vasundhara V is coming out with a book.
Yes.
One more thing to look forward to. Maybe can you tell us how soon, or you cannot?
No, because uh,
Okay,
a lot of things are
couple of
going on.
months this year.
Oh yeah, definitely this year.
Okay, so that's about it. It should be available on Amazon or something, right?
It'll be available there only in the beginning, and rest of the details you'll know once it comes out.
So go follow Vasundhara for that, I guess, if you want the book. Uh,
Yeah.
which do you want to just give the title or what the book is about? Just if anyone's watching,
It's called Big Dreams, Bold Choices.
I like that name.
So it's all about uh, the way our music industry functions, the kind of work possibilities, the kind of things people have achieved, done, and keep doing in different work areas inside the music industry. Because we just call it practicing music, doing a session, but there are so many branches. Everything is explained in detail. Everything has interviews of very specialized people like the top producers like Dhruv Ganikar and all. They have
Mhm.
put down conversations with her and things like music journalism, how people got into it, what they do. Those kind of careers are explained. So a lot of things related to if you are planning to do music, what can you do inside music, and what all people have done and achieved great heights with. And then of course there's a lot of planning related stuff where brand building comes into action, product creation comes into action, and how to do all that, what are the resources you need to look at. So it's a fantastic book.
Beautiful. So Vasundhara V's Instagram channels, if you want to find out more about big dream and bold choices.
Yes.
Saurabh Suman's Instagram. for School of Bass and School of Bass Instagram, Square Web Studios for more of these podcasts.
Yay.
Yeah, and Saurabh also hosts a podcast on Saturday. It's a lot of plugs, but if you want stuff, you know where to go now.
That's true.
Beautiful. Have a nice evening further from
You,
here.
bro.
This was amazing. In fact, this was so good that maybe we can have season two with Saurabh Suvin in some time, like in a few weeks, few months, and explore some other things that we didn't explore today.
Yeah, we'll do something sometime later.
3 months maybe, because there'll be new things to talk about.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
All right. Good night.
Good night, man. We'll talk soon. Bye.
Bye bye. Want to find a way to end the stream?
I'm leaving.
Okay. Bye. Thank you for doing this. Um, let me Okay, guys. Thank you for sticking around. Thank you so much to Saurabh Suman for being a part of this. He has been one of the mentors and inspiration in my life. This thing went on for a long time, but it was really, really good. Um, I'm hoping we're still streaming. And peace. Good night. Bye bye. Hope you got something out of it.